Paige Beckers. Paige Buckets. You know, it's in some ways, it feels like a win for the city of Dallas. Like we should almost be celebrating. What a win for UConn. Congratulations to the Huskies. What's Blood waffling about? The UConn Huskies winning the national championship. I mean, pretty obvious what I'm waffling about. I feel like that was pretty obvious. And I'm not here to like argue with you fucking annoying ass Laker fans today. Mavs fans turned Laker fans 2 months ago. Use your Virtuo Nespresso pods. I got Nespresso in there. Does it still taste bad? This one actually tastes pretty good. I got like a little creamer in there, some milk. I don't know what the fuck this is. This popped up last night out of nowhere. It's not a pimple. It's like it almost looks like a scrape or a scratch. I'm not really sure what the fuck. Hickey's possible. I'm not really sure what it is. Cat? I don't think he did. The Plague. I did watch Nosferatu over the weekend. Got to use evaporated milk? Why is that? Letterboxd. I did some Letterboxd updates yesterday. I watched a couple of movies. Let me do Wordle, and then I'll tell you my Letterboxd update, and then we'll get into it. We'll talk about the Lakers win over the Thunder. Talk about the Nuggets. Lakers looked great yesterday. I mean, Luka looked awesome. We'll get into it. But man, that was a statement. That was a statement. All right, here we go. Let's start the week off strong. This is the word we like, share. Boom, boom, boom. You see? And that's why we like it. Heat. No, it can't be heat. E is the second letter. No. Could this be a... Thiam. Is this a word? Oh wait, H can't be the second letter. Fuck. Okay. This feels like it's immediately. This feels like it's hard for me. This feels like it's hard. I'm gonna waste a guess just because I want to know where some other letters are. Okay. That helped me. That did help me. It's easier to see it this way now. I know that an H is the first letter. And I know that E is not the second letter. Nor the last letter. No, that doesn't. I can't think of any word like that off the top of my head. I'm thinking like henna. But that's not it. Okay. Maybe we go A blank E blank. Hater. But there's no T. Haper. Hailer. There's no R. There's a D. Is this a word? Okay. What? Is this, am I missing it? Haggle? Oh, here we go. Well, there it is. I mean, we can't fucking miss this one. Just never ever think about going with the Z. It doesn't even work in my brain like that to even think about the Z. Nail, pound, feel like they could be together. Thump. Beats. All feel like they could be together. Pound, nail, beat, thump. Level could also be in this. Crater could be in this. Just kind of, I leveled it. I pounded it. I nailed it. You leveled it. You beat it. Thump actually feels like it might be pound, nail, level, and beat. Oh, not even one away. Okay. I felt like that was a good guess, though. I feel like that was a good guess. This game's really been fucking with my head lately. I got to be honest with you. Gorge, cape. Feels like those could be. Ridge, crater. Feels like these could be. Gorge, cape, and ridge feels like those are together. Hills. Okay. All right, got that. Landforms. So that getting rid of nailed it, beat it. Okay, well, hold on. Nails, there's a hammer. So nail, hammer. Pulse, pound, thump, beat. Those have to be related. Your heart pound, heart pulse, beat, thump. Those have to be together. Okay. Now we have nail, level, a level, hammer, locker room, ballroom, print room, hanger room. I mean, that doesn't fucking make sense. Nail room, hammer room, level room. Good idea. Let's think about maybe removing letters or adding letters to something, because that's when they fucking love to do that. Locker room, ballroom. That sounds really good in my head, but I don't know if that... I don't think is a print room a thing? I mean, I used to work for a newspaper. I don't know if I've heard print room. Nail, hammer. Nail, hammer, and level all feel like they're probably connected. And then locker? I mean, that's just maybe these four. One away. Oh, fuck. Print. Nail, hammer, level. So if I did these, what would these be? Hills, print, hanger, and ball. That would just be some dumb shit that's not even computing in my brain. Hanger, ball, print, and hills. So these four, we were one away. Nail, hammer, ball, and level. Nail, hammer, and level are together. They have to be. So that means ball is out. I don't know. We're spending too much time on this. Fuck. What was it? Picture hanging needs a hammer, hanger. Oh my God. Football, foot hills, foot locker, footprint. Fuck. Football, foothills, footlocker, footprint. All right. I'm telling you, this game is just messing with my head. It's absolutely messing with my head. It did own me today. It's in my head. Good for the brain. Yeah, Monday morning, get us going. Man, I used to just cruise through these. But once it throws a couple at you, a couple wrenches at you, no pun intended, then all of a sudden you're in your own head. Like when they start like, hey, this is like words that are mispronounced. These were easy. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, though. Like, yeah, these were not hard. But I'm saying I'm in my own head because of some of the more difficult ones they have where we added 2 vowels to these words. And it's just like, what? Walker, Level, Hills, and Hanger are all places. You see what I'm saying? Like, you start to think of these things. Like, I honestly feel like Cape Crater, Gorge, and Ridge, maybe that one's easy, but I feel like that was a good pool. Or the words are a slant of another word if you read them differently. That's what I'm saying. So I have to just get it through my head. You know, get it through my head. Just go the easy. Just go what you think it is. And we'll get into it. I do have some Letterboxd updates real quick. I like telling you guys my Letterboxd updates. I'm trying to watch more movies. You know, I've never been a great big movie guy, but you know, whenever I'm going to start directing films soon. I've been a couple of different studios have contacted me. I need to just really get into it. If you were on my playback stream, you know, I watched Draft Day, I watched Nosferatu. I got a couple new updates to my Letterboxd. Princess, now bear with me on the pronunciation. Princess Mononoke. Close. I knew you and Sydney Sweeney were linked. Anyway, Studio Ghibli. I mean, just great movie. Mononoke. Mononoke. See, you guys are telling me 2 different pronunciations in the chat. But okay. Great movie. I mean, the fucking animation is just on another level. Like, no one does it better. Nobody does it better. The atmosphere, the feel. Nobody aura farms quite like it as well. Like, that's something with the Studio Ghibli movies. Like, nobody aura farms quite like it. Everyone looks cool as fuck in this universe. You know, great message as well. We have to be one with nature. We coexist together. One's not better than the other. Aura farms. Yeah, this is how I review movies. And then Moneyball. I mean, I've seen Moneyball before, but I watched it again yesterday. 4.5. Incredible. Maybe the best sports movie of all time. Actually, I'd probably say comfortably the best sports movie I've ever seen. I would say comfortably the best sports movie I've ever seen. Moneyball. It's just, it's the best one. Nobody does it better. KD movie clears. What is that one called? Thunderstruck. Coach Carter might clear. The thing I love about Moneyball is it's not like corny and cringy as fuck, which a lot of sports movies are. It gets the sports right. It feels like it's actually an interesting inside look into sports that other sports movies don't give us, really. You know, most sports movies, like Draft Day tried to do what Moneyball did in a lot of ways, but was just dumb as shit by the end of it. By the end of it, you're like, what the fuck just happened? Like, if you knew sports, you're like, what just happened in this movie? What just happened in this movie? Moneyball, genuinely very interesting. And I also like the fact that, you know, they don't win at the end. Like, they lose in the first round of the playoffs 4 straight years. And Brad Pitt was incredible in this movie. Draft Day is fun for people who don't know football. So I was thinking about that with Draft Days. It's like, you have to not know football at all to, like, appreciate it and to, like, not spend the whole movie going, what the hell's happening? Like, not know football at all. And by the way, just to let you guys know how out of the NFL I am, I thought the draft already happened. How are we still weeks away from the NFL draft? I feel like it's just been talked about so much. I'm not joking. I thought it already happened. But anyways, then it's also like, if you don't like football, I'm really not sure why you would like this movie, because you wouldn't really know what's going on. You know, like you wouldn't fully get what's happening. I don't know. You can't fool me. You're itching to see the Cowboys pick at 12. I have no clue, and I don't care. No clue. Do not care. Will not be watching. When is it? The 24th. Oh my God. Oh yeah. I know the page is on her way. I wish I could rewatch your game streams on playback. I do too, and I kind of want to try to figure something out for the playoffs. Maybe on this channel is like a member-only feature. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure if that fucks with your algorithm. Like if I'm uploading 6-hour-long VODs that are like member-onlys, does that fuck with my algorithm at all? I don't know. But I want the playoff streams to live. Just in case they're crazy. There's no point in watching. Trust me, guys. We're playing like GeoGuessr. The first Mavs game, that Friday night when they lost by 30 points, the first time we had a movie debate for about the last 2 hours. Let everyone see them. I think they'd have to be member only. I'm sorry. It's just too much uploading. But if it makes you guys feel better, I think a membership on this channel is like $2, if that. I don't know what the price is. I set it for the lowest one. I think you can set it. Solid GTA 6 in late July will be fun. That doesn't come out in late July, does it? Doesn't even have a date. There's no way in fuck this game's coming out. There's no way in hell that game's coming out in July. Paul, 5 gifted memberships. Hell yeah, Paul. Sorry, GTA 6 late July 2028 is what I meant. Okay, yeah, for sure. That's how the Minecraft movie. I want to go see it, but at the same time, I don't really want to pay to go see it. It's kind of this double-edged sword for me where it's like the theater experience does sound hilarious, but also at the same time, I know I'd be annoyed as fuck by like the 20 minutes in. If my theater was like that. If my theater wasn't like that, then I'm like, why am I even going? Because I don't really care that much. Aaron, 2 months inside Delusional Club. I'm taking the ACT tomorrow and I'm scared. Good luck, man. I dominated the ACT. I had a really good score. I forgot what it was exactly. My SAT score is pretty solid. My ACT score, though, is really good. So if you need any help, let me know. I mean, if you need any tips. Let me know. What's happening in theaters with the Minecraft movie? Just look it up. People are going crazy. It's pretty hilarious. It's achieved what Morbius couldn't, where it reached the meme status in a way that made people want to go see it. Versus Morbius, where people are like just laughing at clips on Twitter. If that makes sense. I gotta check my emails because I'm supposed to have a call later, but okay. Let's get into it. Logan with the $5. Will you be streaming Lakers games on playback? If Mavs get bounced in the play, you should continue to watch playoff games. Do it for Luka, man. Oh, I'm gonna stream on playback on the playoff games for sure. For sure. For sure. Shout out Paige Beckers, man. The champ is here. The champ is here. I saw a take that say people cope and say shooting variance when the team they want to win loses. Makes sense. All right, well, that's a good segue, actually. Let's get going. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, April 7th, 2025, 11:06 a.m. Central Standard Time. We've got a lot to talk about today. This is the last week of the NBA regular season. And, folks, it's getting spicy down the stretch here. We've got some statement games happening across the league. We've got Ivani donating $5. Was going to start watching Severance, but realized it was on Apple TV. Is it really worth paying for another streaming service for that one show? Good question. Is there a just 1 month subscribe and get out and binge Severance route? That's kind of where I would be about, because I don't know. I don't think I watch any other Apple shows, if I'm being honest with you. If we head over to the standings in the Western Conference, it is... Okay, we're going to for sure read this later. 28 Luka trades, but every NBA team could have offered the Mavs. We are definitely reading that. Usually I would say I'm completely and totally done with this topic, which is funny because I have a live show tomorrow with the Locked On guys, Four Corners Brewery, 7 p.m. It's funny because I was like, I'm so done talking about, like, I was more amped about the live show a few weeks ago, right? Just because I thought the energy would be good. It's unfortunate that I'm now reaching for, I'm like, I am so done talking about this shit. But, it'll still be fun. It's sort of a group therapy session, basically. But if we head over to the standings, you can see this clump right here in the Western Conference. You have 5 teams who all sit at 32 losses on the season. You have the Grizzlies, who are currently the 8th seed, 46-32. You have the Denver Nuggets, the 4 seed, 47-32. They're a half game up on all the other teams because they've played an extra game and have won that game. But the Clippers, Warriors, Timberwolves, and Grizzlies all find themselves in a 4-way tie. And, man, these things are going to get spicy. The Nuggets have 3 games left. All these other teams have 4 games left on their schedule. The Thunder have clinched the 1 seed for quite some time. The Rockets are going to be the 2 seed. That's pretty much set in stone at this point. The Lakers feel pretty safe in the top 3. So it feels like we have our top 3, Thunder, Rockets, Lakers. And, the Lakers, they play the Thunder again tomorrow night. Then they got a back-to-back against the Mavericks, which you expect them to win that game. But you never know. A lot of emotions. The Rockets on Friday. So, I guess there's a world where the Lakers kind of get drugged back into this mix down here. But they feel kind of safe. Just because I don't think the Lakers will lose to the Mavericks on that night. And, yeah, that's neither here nor there. Oh, also, congratulations to Alexander Ovechkin, all-time leading goal scorer in NHL history. Lakers definitely not safe, but they feel kind of safe. They're not in this clump, I guess I should say. The Kings and the Mavs are just kind of comfortably the 9 and 10. I do not think the Suns will be back into the mix. So it feels like we know our 10. Right? The question is who's going to be in the play-in tournament. You have to feel for the Timberwolves because they've been incredible lately. They've won 5 straight games. It feels like they're making up no ground whatsoever. The Clippers are also just like on this crazy hot stretch. They've barely moved up, it feels like. The Grizzlies are kind of free-falling. The Nuggets are really the story here. And we're going to talk about the Nuggets here in a bit because I watched that game, the Pacers-Nuggets game from last night. I watched that this morning, and, man, I got some thoughts. Logan, $2. Nico should win best GM for Lakers organization. He should. So that's what's going on in the Western Conference. The East, the Cavs are going to be the 1 seed. Celtics 2 seed. We know that. The Knicks are comfortably the 3 seed. And it feels like we know our top 4. We know our top 6 for sure. That's all been clinched. The Pistons, congratulations to them. Clinch a playoff spot. Clinched the playoff spot. We know who our playing teams are out east. There's not a lot of intrigue here. The Bulls, who have been hot, could sneak their way into an 8 or even 7 spot. Caden, welcome to Slightly Delusional Club, which means that they'd host a play-in game and have a pretty good chance of making the playoffs, which is interesting. The Heat feel like they're going to be one of the 10 or 9 seeds. So that's what's happening. The East is sort of a battle now. Who's going to be the 5? Who's going to be the 6 between the Bucks and the Pistons? The Pacers are playing great. It feels like they're pretty much set in stone, the 4 seed. Knicks set in stone, the 3 seed. So we're starting to get a glimpse as to what our matchups are going to be out east. West, it's still a complete and total crapshoot. So the final week of the season here is going to be intense. Do we want to do a segment where we look at all of these teams The upcoming schedule for all of these teams, that feels like a lot. Actually, I think NBA University just tweeted out a graphic that makes that much easier to follow. So we can actually spend some time on this. Here we go. Western Conference standings and remaining schedule. So the Lakers have the Thunder, Mavs, Rockets, and Blazers to close out the season. You know, pretty tough schedule. Nuggets, who, again, we're going to talk about here in a bit, are reeling right now. They have the Kings, who are kind of fighting to solidify themselves as a team that's going to host a playing game at the very least. The Grizzlies, who are fighting for their lives at this point. And the Rockets, last game of the season. Who knows? Last game of the season, you never really know. Clippers have Spurs, Rockets, Kings, and Warriors. You know, not easy. Warriors have Suns, who are fighting for their life. I think if the Suns lose this game, they're done, guaranteed. Suns, Spurs, Blazers, and Clippers. Timberwolves have Bucks, Grizzlies, Nets, and Jazz. Interesting. Grizzlies have Hornets. Timberwolves, holy fuck, that's a huge game. Nuggets, that's a huge game. Mavs to close out the season. Kings and Mavs, you know, whatever. Who cares? Honest to God, who cares? Who gives a shit? My Revenge of the Sith take has found its way to movie TikTok. They low-key on my ass. How did you get yourself in a movie TikTok? Speaking of things leaving your safe space, I didn't even realize this because the way I have my like Twitter notifications set up is I don't see like people I don't follow or who don't follow me. I don't see their interactions. I did not. This tweet right here left my little safe space. Cooper Flagg missing the game-winning shot against Houston. Tough shot, sure. Good contest, yes. But if I'm an NBA GM, I can't draft the kid who missed this number 1 overall. Maybe not even top 10. Any GM reading this, let Cooper Flagg get to pick 12 through 14 if you want to save your job. And I realized yesterday that this greatly left my safe space, and people were getting very upset about it. But hey, you know what? Should we make a fun little like segment here? ESPN studio. Let me try out for ESPN. Let me do my tryout for ESPN because this is a take that you would see on ESPN. That shot cost me the slightly biased bracket. The slightly biased bracket's down to 2 teams, obviously. That's how this stuff works. We have the is the championship game tonight? Or is it tomorrow night? Nick had a sarcastic tweet yesterday. Nobody realizes it's satire. They're so dense. I know. People have the online like media literacy of a fucking toddler. It's like, how have you made it this far? How are we in 2025? You've been online. How have you made it this far? You know? Tonight, zero hype for tonight. Duke should have made it. I'm hopeful that Houston wins it because they've kind of been they've been a good team for a while and are sort of haven't sealed the deal. Not only are the tariffs lowering the stock market, Luka's stock, but now Cooper Flagg's too. That's right. There's a lot of hype. There's a decent amount of hype. I don't know if I'd say a lot of hype. There's a decent amount of hype. I'm looking at Florida to win. So I win a family bracket if it's. I win a family bracket if it's Houston. So I'm rooting for Houston. This is just how the stream is going to be the rest of the day, guys. Okay. Whoops. Ignore that. What are some Houston alums? You got Quentin Grimes, obviously. You've got who are some other Houston alumnus? I'm pretty bad with the colleges, if I'm being honest with you. What is going on here? I'm sorry. This is taking longer than I thought it would. Case Keenum. Oh, Jarris Walker. Duh, Jarris Walker had a great game last night, huh? Talk about him. Definitely talk about him here in a bit. Leave it like this. Just streamed in black the entire time. That would be fitting, I think. Always a good sign when you're hearing that over and over again. Hey guys, it's me. Hakeem, obviously. Clyde Drexler, obviously. But current NBA players. How many are there? You would think Houston would have a good amount. Marcus Sasser, right? Quentin Grimes, Sasser. Okay, this is getting preposterous. Where the fuck is this shit? This is all for just a stupid ass bit that's probably not even worth doing. Jamal Shad, Florida legend Bradley Beal. You've got Florida. You've got Beal. You've got Horford. You've got who else? Beal, Horford, Dodo, obviously. Noah, he's not in the league anymore though. Corey Brewer, not in the league anymore, obviously. Dirk went to Florida. Luka obviously had to choose between Houston and McNeese State. Obviously, he went McNeese State, but he was almost a Houston Cougar. No, Kleba didn't go to Florida. Kleba went to Syracuse. What are we doing? I'm trying to do an ESPN bit, but honestly, it's not even gonna be funny anymore. So I honestly don't even know if I want to do it. I'm gonna do my ESPN audition tape for talking about the Cooper Flagg jump shot that missed. And 3, 2, 1, action. Yeah, I watch the greats, the all-time greats, and people have talked about Cooper Flagg like he's this all-time great prospect, right? He's better than LeBron. He's better than Wemby. He's better than Jordan. People have said all that. Those guys aren't missing that shot. In a college game, those guys aren't missing that shot in that moment to take the lead for a chance to win. I just can't, in good faith, draft a guy like that. Ace Bailey, right? That's somebody... Didn't make the tournament, obviously. His team wasn't good enough to make the tournament. But if he's in that position, he's hitting that shot, and they're going to win the game. I would take him number 1 overall, right? His own teammate. I'm watching this play right now. Corey Knibble's wide open. You pass the ball to him. He's hitting that. I'd take him number 1 overall. Cooper Flagg, I just can't take number 1 overall because he can't do it in the final stretches of a game, and that's what it's all about. So if he drops to 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, that's where I would feel safe drafting him. Top 10, number 1 overall. How can you rely on a guy like that? How can you rely on a guy like that? Jeremiah Fears lost in the first 4. He's making that shot. They don't miss that shot in the league. That's a shot they make in the league. If you took current LeBron James and put him on Duke, what's going to happen? Current LeBron James on this Duke team, they win easily. Current Michael Jordan on this Duke team versus... Now, current Michael Jordan on Houston's team versus current LeBron on Duke's team. Who wins? I think Michael Jordan wins. Current Michael Jordan, I think, beats current LeBron James. I think that's what happens. And because of that, I cannot take Cooper Flagg 1st overall in the draft. I'd have to take him 12th, 13th, 14th before I would take him number 1 in the draft. Because I'm thinking about Michael Jordan, current Michael Jordan, 60 years old, playing for the Houston Cougars versus current 40-year-old LeBron James on the Duke Blue Devils. And I'm just, current Michael Jordan beats current LeBron James. And because of that, Cooper Flagg can't go number 1. Think about it. Just something to think about. Okay, let's talk about the game last night. Let's talk about the blowout heard around the world. My Oklahoma City Thunder took a beating yesterday. Belt to ass. No two ways around it. Lakers fans, congratulations on the win. Luka fans, congratulations on the win. Lakers fans who were Mavs fans 2 months ago, no congratulations towards you. But, congratulations to everybody involved. Just about to ass whooping. So a couple of things to talk about here. Because I got tweets, I got, stay on that side. You said the Lakers had no chance against the Thunder. Now, in my defense, I said I picked the Thunder in 6 games. I did give the Lakers 2 games. I said I picked the Lakers in 6 games, the Thunder in 6 games. I'd give them 2. Does this change anything? Well, let's talk about the Lakers because they were incredible yesterday. Great shot after great shot. Started the game red hot from 3. What were they to start the game? Like 12 of 15. Something insane to start the game from 3. Luka set the tone immediately. Had a great first quarter. I mean, just doing Luka shit, right? Crazy step backs over Hartenstein, over Holmgren. We know that's what Luka likes. You get those big switch on him, which I don't think OKC hates. I think OKC lives with Chet on an island against Luka, although Luka cooked Chet a couple of times. He had that one where Luka had it, Chet guarding him on the perimeter. Luka starts dancing, gets to the elbow, completely lost Chet. They had to peel switch in the middle of the fucking play because Chet got completely lost, and it led to a wide open corner 3. I don't remember who exactly it was. I think for either Dodo or Vincent, somebody like that. David, welcome to Slightly Delusional Club. And Luka was just picking him apart early. Luka set the tone. OKC switched Dort off too easily, in my opinion. I do agree. And the Thunder changed up their defensive coverages quite a bit in this one. Changed up their defensive game plan quite a bit throughout the course of this game. I do agree there, although I think the Thunder are okay with that, though. Because it's a lot of times it's, Caruso switches on, Case and Wallace switches on. And like I said, I think they're okay, especially when they're running double bigs. I think they're okay with Hartenstein or Chet getting switched on. I think they kind of live with it there. Now, with that being said, every team is going to look good when you start the game 12 of 15 from 3. Every team has a chance to beat any team when you start the first 2 quarters of the game shooting 80% from 3. Now, let me just say that. Okay? Let's just start there. That's just the truth. Take with the $5. Can we get a Trump impersonation for the fraudulent Thunder? We'll wait. President Trump's a busy guy right now, destroying the country. So for us, he's sort of our play-in aficionado. He gives us updates on that. So we'll check in with him later in the week as these things sort of play out. So anyways, just a monstrous 3-point shooting game for the Lakers. And again, they got really good looks. So if you're somebody who says, just a Mickey Mouse clubhouse level 3-point shooting barrage from the Lakers, I would agree, right? If you were to tell me in a playoff series between these two teams, the Lakers shoot 55% from 3 every single game, okay, that changes the dynamic of the fucking game, right? That changes the dynamic of the series. But they did get great looks. They did get really clean looks. It's kind of similar to the Mavs series last year against the Thunder. It was like, yeah, they got a lot of pretty good corner threes that they're very okay with shooting. And we know that was the MO for the Thunder defensively all last year. We're cool giving up these corner threes, right? We're cool with it. The Lakers, 7 of 14 from the corner, 50%. 16% of their shots, corner threes. That's in the 94th percentile. Now, they did shoot 56% on non-corner threes, so above the break threes, stuff like that. That is an unbelievable number. It was a 99th percentile 3-point shooting game. Okay? So, yes, all of that's true. A 3-point shooting game, that is, I don't want to say fluky, but I mean, it's 55%. I saw Cranjus McBasketball. I follow him. He does some real deep level deep dives, right? He was mentioning how the organized offense for the Lakers, that's something he monitors, which is how often they run sets and actions, was really high. They were getting good looks, but it was also the first two quarters for the Lakers was 2 of their 7 best shooting quarters of the entire season. And from a expected point, it's all a lot of mumbo jumbo to me, but I understood what you're saying, but it's more difficult for me to regurgitate it. that from like an expected point per possession perspective, it was a good game for them. But obviously they got some 3-point shooting luck. And, you know, we'll see. They play tomorrow night. So I'm interested to see how the Thunder approach that game. Because I'm not even going to take the approach that I honestly thought I would have taken if the Lakers won this game, which was, the Thunder aren't really playing for shit. And the Thunder probably look at this and say, we very easily could face the Lakers in the second round. So let's not, you know, let's not show too much. If we lose, we lose. It doesn't matter to us. Like, let's not show too much. Now, that being said, watching the game, I didn't really feel like that was the case. You know, I feel like they were making in-game adjustments. They were mixing up their coverages quite a bit. I think the Lakers just got him. I think the Lakers just got him. Now, a difference between the Thunder this year is that they still give up more corner threes than any other team in the NBA. That's something that they're comfortable with. That's something they're comfortable giving up. Teams don't shoot that well from the corner against them, right? Because I think they fly around defensively. They're going to contest that shot. So it might not be a comfortable 3-point shot. But they do give up that corner three quite a bit. And we know Luka Doncic led teams. It sort of had died off a little bit. The Mavs weren't generating anywhere near as many corner threes really in the playoffs last year. And then that sort of bled over into the season this year. I think teams were mixing up their defensive coverages. But since March 1st, the Lakers have attempted the 5th most corner threes in the league. So it's kind of one of those stylistic things where the Lakers, the Thunder are cool giving up this shot. The Lakers love taking that shot. It's something to monitor, right? I also, the Thunder got killed on the glass, I thought, in this game. Like, the rebounding is really frustrating. You might look at the numbers, 8 offensive rebounds. It isn't that much, really, but it was the way in which they happened. Some real frustrating, especially when you're down in the game and you're trying to mount a comeback. Some real frustrating defensive rebounds that you missed out on. And offensively, they struggled to get going. And this is the concern, right? If you were to tell me the Thunder do not win the West, I would immediately say, was J-Dub bad? And the answer to that question will absolutely be yes. J-Dub fucking stunk it up in this game, man. Stunk it up. 16 points, 4-14. It looked worse than that. Just could not get going whatsoever. I thought Shea was actually pretty solid in this game. But J-Dub, man, he's something else sometimes. Very frustrating player. Very frustrating player. SGA getting 0 free throws is crazy, LOL. Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of plays where he got fouled for sure. But I don't think they weren't calling a lot of fouls either way, I thought. But there was the play where like Luka started bleeding from the lips. I thought, was that not a clear and obvious foul on Luka? But again, like they swallowed the whistle, I thought, for most of the game. SGA in playoff form early. SGA was incredible in the playoffs last year. So you're just rambling. Just rambling. Yeah, Hartenstein push was clear. They were not calling things. I love SGA, really do, but his game is not spontaneous enough. It gets old. I don't even know what that means. SGA is too consistent? Is that what you're saying? It's a weird critique of a player. SGA still had a great game on 0 free throws. Hurts the free throw merchant narrative. Yeah, I thought SGA was good yesterday. But the Lakers defensively, I thought, you know, that size that the Lakers have, the positional size, did kind of throw the Thunder for a bit of a loop. Just, you need more than 6 shots from Chet. Is OKC the team you'll stream during the playoffs? I'm streaming the playoffs. Like, my goal is to just stream pretty much every night except Thursday nights. So that's the plan currently. SGA doesn't peak as high as some of the other top 5 players, but his floor is probably second only to Jokic. I mean, SGA's floor is like 24 points. I think we see SGA on Luka Kawhi playoff level this year. Only question is if he will get enough assistance, in my opinion. I'm not worried about Shea at all. Like, Shea's not, I don't even, like, I thought Shea was fine yesterday. I do. I'm not worried about Shea. I am worried about J-Dub. That's my concern with them. Can J-Dub come along for the ride in a real serious way? Because if you want to win the finals, your number two can't just be like a cycling cast of characters, right? Your number two needs to be a dude. So can J-Dub be the fucking guy? That's the question. He struggles against some of the better teams in the league. He just does. He struggles against some of the better teams. OKC is 9-12 versus Denver, Dallas, Houston, Golden State, Minnesota, and the Lakers. That stat means absolutely zero to me. I'm just being honest with you. That stat means nothing to me. They lost 3 games to the Dallas Mavericks. What do I do with that information? How many of those games were without bigs earlier in the season? Because you don't like it? Because regular season stuff takes context out of everything. When you're looking at individual head-to-head matchups, like if you were to say, hey, the Thunder are 1-3 against the Mavs this year. Oh, okay. Like, shit, the Mavs might have a chance then. Hey, and the one game that the Mavs lost, Luka played in. So, like, they won 3 without Luka. Okay, that's interesting. So, the Mavs have a chance in the playoffs? Oh, well, what's some other context of those games for the Thunder? They were without both of their bigs in most of those games? Okay, that changes the context quite a bit. OKC had only lost 1 game in the East. Lakers have only won 1 less Western Conference game this regular season. Odd stats. Partho with the $10. J-Dub dribbles like me, man. He's the most talented melon in the league. I just can't figure out someone who can't dribble or create space with negative passing vision can average 20 in my beautiful association. He's a pretty good playmaker. J-Dub is. But yeah, he's got to consistently reach a point where he's putting pressure on the opposing team's defenses. He's hitting shots. He's attacking defenses that are in rotation because they're sending help towards SGA. He's attacking teams' secondary defenders because they're putting their best defender on SGA. And he's beating them. He's making them pay. That has to be the point J-Dub reaches this postseason. I don't know how that sent twice, Partha, but thank you for $20. He can hit difficult shots. He can hit difficult shots. He can hit that mid-range jump shot pretty consistently. Last year, he was one of the best clutch shooters in the game. Clutch mid-range shooters in the game. Listen, OKC fans, his passing vision has fallen off a tremendous degree since he's taken an increased scoring load. J-Dub, how did you get J-Dub? He's called J-Dub because J will, and then the JW becomes J-Dub. That's how. Do you know how serious OKC takes the last few games? Aren't they practically locked at 1? Save it for the playoffs. That is one way to approach this game. I don't think that's what happened. I think the Lakers just beat their ass. Like, that's what I think happened. It does kind of change things, right? Like, I'll have to sit down and think, if these two teams met in round 2, do I give the Lakers like a real legitimate shot? Because I hadn't been giving them a real legitimate shot up until this game where I'm just like, okay. They generated a lot of really good-looking threes. They're not scared. Like, that's one thing about the Lakers versus this Thunder team. They're not going to be scared, right? They're not going to be threatened. They're not going to be intimidated at all. I thought the Lakers did turn the ball over quite a bit, which is the thing that would scare me about a Lakers matchup against the Thunders. I think the Thunder would ramp it up, and the Lakers would have a turnover problem 100%. When has J-Dub ever had passing vision? He's a decent player, Dub, to have passing vision. No, J-Dub had a lot of moments last year where he was like the primary creator on the team with SGA off the court and looked pretty good. Outlier shooting game, in my opinion. Definitely an outlier shooting game. But they also won by nearly 30 points. And it was like a 30-point game the entire time. Caruso actually bothered Luka a lot. So the Lakers offensively tailed off in the second half. How much of that was we're up by 30 points. Let's get to the finish line. Probably a decent amount. But I did notice sort of an uptick in just Caruso being annoying as fuck on ball in the second half versus the first half. And the pace sort of slowed down to a way that I think helped out the Thunder defense quite a bit. But then on the flip side, the Thunder couldn't score in the second half. Is OKC as good as last year's Celtics? All stats, all advanced analytics would tell you that this Thunder team is one of the greatest regular season teams we've ever seen. It's difficult in hindsight to look at it because obviously the Celtics went on to win in the finals in a dominating fashion. I mean, they just ran through everybody. But there were times throughout the regular season last year where the Celtics would lose a game and we'd be like, yep, and that's why. That's why the Celtics can't win in the playoffs. That's why the Celtics won't win the finals, because Tatum and Brown turn into pumpkins down the stretch, or their clutch offense isn't good enough, or they ISO too much down the stretch. Like they shoot too many threes. Like that was constantly sort of a thing throughout the season last year for the Celtics. So it's difficult to look back at it with the hindsight. 2-2 against the Nuggets, 1-1 against the Lakers, 2-2 against Houston, 2-2 against the Wolves, 1-2 against the Warriors. I don't know why y'all think among West top tier OKC are untouchable. They aren't. I would need to see all of those games, the context in all of those games. The head-to-head stats to me are so fucking wonky. They are so wonky. That's why, like, I think most people who predict the playoffs and really break down playoff games rarely ever look back at like early season head-to-head matchups, because it's just too much has changed. OKC owns the East. They don't really own the West. 2 of those losses, no Shea. 6 of them, no Chet or Hart. 2 of them, both no Chet or Hart. That's what I'm saying. It's just like the Mavs, they're 1-3 against the Mavs. So like, so people throw the Mavericks into that mix. The Mavericks are not a threat to beat them in any way or shape or form. Okay. I don't even think the Mavericks are making it out the play-in tournament. So people throw the Mavericks in there because it makes the record look worse for the Thunder. So they throw the Mavericks in there. Why do they do that? Because they're 1-3 against the Mavs this year. People forget that when Luka doesn't care about a game, he already checked out before the tip-off. Well, he needs to get that out. If you think that it's a thing that Luka does, he needs to get that out of his bag immediately. Like, if you're a Luka stan saying that, that's not a good thing to say. Why do y'all defend OKC so much? They haven't done shit. Is there a difference between defending OKC and not just wanting to say, oh, yeah, OKC's frauds, like you guys are wanting them to say? I think OKC is less flawless than you say because of their lack of legit offensive stars outside Shea, but still think they're way better than other West teams, and Shea is best in the world, in my opinion. It really comes down to J-Dub. I mean, that's really it. I'm not worried about Shea whatsoever. Not worried about Shea in the slightest. I am worried about J-Dub. And I do wonder. So let's just throw this hypothetical out there because it's the day after this ass whooping, and these are the narratives we're gonna go with. If disaster were to strike in the playoffs for this Thunder team and J-Dub struggles, do we have to have some weird conversation? Do we have to have some hard conversations? OKC is the favorite, but you're talking about them like they're the 2017 Warriors. I'm talking about them like that because all of the historical indicators, all of the stats, everything the Thunder have done so far this season has put them in those conversations. Do you understand that, correct? You understand what they've done this regular season has put them in rarefied air. Like historically, the things that they have done puts them in conversations with like the 5 best teams ever. Whether or not, I don't care about the stats. People said the same thing about the Celtics last year. Use eye test, biggest bro. They've steamrolled teams. That's what my eye test tells me. I've watched them shit on almost every fucking team that they've played. They're 64-14. They've won 50 more times than they've lost. No, I'm just like, guys, just say that you think that they could lose. That's fine. But like, don't come in here and be like, what? Like, why are you comparing them to these teams? Like, what's the like? Use your eye test, bro. They're not very good. Like, I'm sorry. That's fucking nonsensical to me. Did this last year too, right? They were nowhere near this level last year. Nowhere near this level whatsoever. Nowhere near this level. Like, come on, give me a break. We've talked about this. They were tied with the Mavericks for the third best odds to win the West last year, going into the playoffs. Going into the playoffs last year, they were tied for the third best odds. Bro's rooting for another 6'7" MVP point guard candidate to cope. I mean, he's not really a candidate. He's winning the MVP. What's the coping, though? I don't really get it. You're not making any sense. Simmons is leaning Jokic. How on earth could you vote Jokic MVP? They're going to be the 7th seed. How on earth could Jokic win the MVP? I'm sorry. They're going to be a play-in team, probably. Yeah, SGA is nowhere near the same size as Luka. Luka's much bigger than SGA. Bill Simmons said SGA is a lock. SGA is a lock, absolutely. It's over. So anyways, excited to see this matchup tomorrow night. To see what changes there are, if any. But really impressive showing by the Lakers, man. Really impressive showing. I mean, Luka was just dominant from opening tip-off. Just sort of took control of the game. Crazy three-point shooting. Dodo couldn't miss. It is the Reeves, LeBron, Luka effect. And one thing I'm watching, because when the Lakers offense really slowed down late, and again, this was just kind of the game was over, but we've seen this a bit where the Lakers offense has tailed off late in games. It's become a lot of LeBron. And there was, to start the fourth quarter, the game was pretty much controlled, but to start the fourth quarter, a lot of kind of ugly LeBron post-ups that went deep into the shot clock that led to nowhere. Austin Reeves is a top 35 player. He's had a great season. I don't know about top 35. Third quarter are Lakers weak heel. I mean, I would say second half in general just feels like it tails off for the Lakers quite a bit, which, I mean, would kind of align with a lot of Luka era Mavs numbers where the second half, especially the third quarter, tails off. Non-first quarter Lakers are their weak quarters. The reason offense gets bad is Braun takes the ball. The Lakers are just it's just a hilarious fandom to see from afar. Because it is just like a couple nights ago, they lost to the Warriors, and it was like, Luka's probably not staying here long term. What's going on? Are we like, did we fuck up? Like, did we miss AD in a matchup like this? I saw all of that all over Twitter. Fast forward a couple of days, this team's winning the West. This team's winning the championship. It is one of the funnier roller coasters there is. It's one of the funnier roller coasters. Bro, Luka's time of possession as the Lakers around 6.5 last year on Dallas. He was 8.3. Nobody wants to talk about him not having the ball as close to the season before. It's for the better. I was getting yelled at all season long because I said for Luka's career, it's better for him to not have that insane workload on him every single night. Now he's on a team with LeBron and Reeves. Sure, they might need to work some stuff out. Iron some stuff out. But I think there's a reason why you look at Luka's career numbers and they tail off over the course of the game pretty dramatically. It's not fair to ask that of somebody to have the ball that much. It was low to start the season in Dallas as well. And he still fucked up his calf halfway through the season. Is D-Live overrated now? Luka's gone. D-Live has played 2 fucking games since returning from a 3-month injury. It's funnier that guys like Slow Hoops, who I blocked, really thought the Lakers fan base is more grateful and passionate than Mavs. That was always one of my favorite things. When people would come in here and be like, Mavs, this is like the worst fan base. No other fan base would treat their superstar like this. I constantly saw that and I was like, are you guys fucking crazy? Like, are you guys crazy? That you think that? Yeah, targeted golf ads. Again, the hair one. Don't need it. And I'm not going to lie. So this is a segue into the Nuggets. The Nuggets have been an absolute disaster lately, obviously. 4 straight losses. They currently find themselves only a half game out of the play-in tournament, only because they've played one more game. They're 17 and a half games back of the Thunder. Again, you have this 14 clump that's 18. So, interesting times ahead for the Nuggets, who lost last night to the Pacers. They've lost 4 in a row. That crazy Timberwolves loss felt like a gut punch of epic proportions. A bad Spurs loss to the Warriors, and then Pacers loss last night. Man alive. So the Jamal Murray, let's start here before we get into the game last night, because I have my thoughts and opinions. One of my main takeaways from last night is just like, oh man, this Nuggets team is so fucking cooked. If Jamal Murray's just not playoff Jamal Murray, because you're just relying on a band of misfits, basically, right? Michael Porter Jr. feels like he's turned into a pumpkin completely. Christian Brown's been fantastic this season. It's kind of funny because if you were to go back, if you were to take a time machine from the start of the season or from the end of the season, go back to the start of the season, be like, hey, Christian Brown, like real legitimate most improved player candidate, has games where he's dropping 25 points, dropped 30 yesterday, career high. You'd be like, oh shit. So Denver is good, right? Denver is good. And yet, that's not the case. And you were to say, yeah, Jokic is having probably the best season of his career. You'd say, oh man, are the Nuggets like in contention for the 1 seed? Instead, it's all crumbling and falling apart. The Jamal Murray situation. They need Jamal Murray. They need Jamal Murray badly in the playoffs if they want a real legitimate chance to win. Here's the problem. Here was Michael Malone's comments about Jamal Murray yesterday. Michael Malone on Jamal Murray. Hopefully he's able to be back by the playoffs. Keep in mind, that's a week away. And for the Denver Nuggets, that's potentially a week away from a playing game. This has been a weird one. It was day-to-day. The next thing you know, it's not day-to-day. So the Jamal Murray situation has taken a turn for the worst. keep in mind, huge contract extension for Jamal Murray. I think Swipe had a tweet up here. If Jamal Murray is not healthy, this will be the fourth playoffs in the last 5 seasons that the Nuggets will have lost Jamal Murray not being 100%. Will have lost due to Jamal Murray not being 100%. I don't want that for him. It's just hard to imagine with a lingering hamstring injury that he's not fully back from yet, that a week from now he'll be ready and good to go. Just struggle to see that as a reality. Hasn't played since March 26th. We know that he had been trending in the right direction from a performance perspective. Had been playing better. The problem is it was kind of inconsistent, up and down. They need him to be Jamal Murray of old if they want to have a realistic chance to win anything this year. And now he's potentially out. They lose last night to the Pacers, 125-120. As I mentioned, they've lost 4 straight games. Jokic over those 4 games. This is what's really kind of concerning. Jokic set out the Spurs game that they lost. But in the 3 losses that he's played in of the last 4, that included a 61-point, 10-rebound, 10-assist game against the Minnesota Timberwolves in that double overtime loss, heartbreaker. 33, 12, and 9 on 13 of 17 shooting in their loss against the Warriors. And 41, 15, and 13 last night against the Pacers in their loss. It's kind of interesting because the Lakers, it felt like when the Lakers beat the Nuggets a little bit after the Luka trade, and they threw that defensive scheme at them where they were just throwing bodies and bodies and bodies and bodies at Jokic. Someone else has to beat us. It felt like, okay, there's a blueprint right there. There's the blueprint to beat Jokic and to beat this Nuggets team. Over the past few games, it feels like, really for the past month or so, it feels like teams are like, all right, Jokic, you can score. You can score. Because we do not have faith that anyone else in your team is really going to come along for the ride, 1, and really make us pay. 2, we feel like we can just score on your team whenever the fuck we want. Like, we feel like we can score on your team at will. It doesn't matter to us if we get into a shootout with you because we feel like we can survive the shootout. Where'd you get that sweater? No clue. It's just a gray sweatshirt. Abercrombie, maybe? Does that sound right? So that's why I love your content. No bias towards your Thunder, giving props when it's due and being practical that OKC is just better than every team. Thank you. It's about time somebody gave me some respect. So, since March 1st, over the last month plus, the Nuggets, 8-11, 20th in point differential, 23rd defensively, only 10th offensively. That's not going to cut it. If you're going to be this Nuggets team, you got to be a top 5, top 3 offense through and through. Their defense has just been a train wreck. Their defense has been a train wreck. It was a train wreck last night against the Pacers. Second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, Indiana just belt to ass against the Denver Nuggets. I mean, look, dude, Jokic is awful defensively. Jokic is horrible on the defensive side of the basketball. Right? Like, that's just, there's no debating it. I can't believe this is even something that's a conversation from time to time. Maybe in years past, Jokic has been fine defensively. And I know that there's some stats to say this is the best defensive season of his career or whatever the case may be. Dude, he's horrific defensively. He was awful yesterday on the defensive side of things. Now, it's not his fault that this is happening. I mean, they're playing Jalen Pickett big minutes. Jalen Pickett had a brutal turnover towards the end of this game. And that's kind of, and Jalen Pickett's given them some pretty good minutes, but that's kind of the thing with this Nuggets team is you're going to be late in games, and like Jalen Pickett's going to be somebody who's maybe dictating the game. Aaron Gordon has just been dealing with these lingering calf injuries all season long and is just just doesn't look like Aaron Gordon defensively, right? When he was one of the best defensive players in the entire NBA, Aaron Gordon was, and was sort of the linchpin of this Nuggets defense. That just doesn't feel like that's there anymore. It's kind of unfortunate. Shooting really well from three this year, but to be fair, Indy was a few blown games away from Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals from sweeping the Mavs last June. Half joke. They're pretty damn good. No. The Pacers are a good team. The Pacers are a good team who've been one of the better teams in the league for like an extended period of time at this point. Like I'm just looking at since March 1st, the Pacers are 6th in net rating. So the Pacers are good. The Pacers are good at hunting mismatches. Absolutely. We know with Rick and what this Pacers team does, because we've seen it firsthand, is they're going to make your centers work because they've got Miles Turner who can stretch the floor. Even Thomas Bryant coming off the bench shoots threes. But, they're going to try and stretch the floor on you. And also, they're going to get your worst defender in the action almost every single time. And that's what happened last night. That's what happened yesterday. Just eating the Nuggets alive. Putting Jokic in the action almost every single time. And also just letting Miles Turner trail the play. Just knowing, hey, you catch the ball at the top of the key, Jokic is not going to get out to you in time. Just imagine if they actually traded Miles Turner when the rumors began in 1991 of him being on the trade block. A shout out to Jarris Walker, too. Jarris Walker had a great game in this one. I'm not selling my Jarris Walker stock. I'm still all in on him. I'm still a believer, even though I think he'll probably be on a different team soon, just because they have to consolidate some assets. But I'm worried about the Denver Nuggets. The way things are trending, it's absolutely possible and on the table. I mean, the Nuggets had, 3 turnovers in the last 60, 70 seconds of this game? But absolutely on the table that they are a play-in team. Like, what? Is that not crazy? How the fuck did we get here? How did we get here? Does Jarris qualify as a future former Mav because of our Hopium pre-draft in 2023? No, because I don't think it was ever really possible. Taylor Hendricks is closer to fitting that. Grizzlies, too. Yeah, it's very possible our 7-8 playing matchup is Grizzlies-Nuggets, which that would have felt impossible a couple months ago. So do you think Jokic leaves the Nuggets anytime soon? No, I don't, but I do feel like the walls have to be closing in on Michael Malone, huh? Like they have to be. Has to be closed. They have to be closing in. So, what's your opinion on the stock market crash? We need your analysis. Slightly biased stock is just permanently going up, so we're good on that front. Nuggets front office worse than the Bucks. Both championship winners. I kind of feel like the Bucks have at least made the home run swing for Dame, although it does feel like it's probably going to come up short. They've been unlucky with injuries. So have the Nuggets, to be fair. The Nuggets, it feels like fumble the bag a little bit more, if that makes sense, than the Bucks. Shams. Portland Trailblazers general manager Joe Cronin has agreed to a multi-year contract extension. How about that? Joe Cronin re-upping with the Blazers. Nuggets fundamental problem. MPJ was barely playable in the bubble. He's not much better now. Yeah, MPJ's career has just been interesting, and he's not somebody you can realistically rely on. And he's making $30 million a year. Because I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, all right, let's say the Nuggets make the play-in tournament. God forbid they lose in the play-in tournament. But whatever. It feels like they're going to be an early playoff exit, regardless of what happens. Are they a team that feels desperate to re-enter the Kevin Durant, a potential Kevin Durant sweepstake? then I was thinking more. I was like, okay, let's say that they are desperate enough and they're like, yeah, we've got picks opening up this offseason. Let's trade for KD. Let's go for it. The Suns, are you like super amped about Michael Porter Jr. being the return? Are you super amped about like potentially Jamal Murray being the return? Like, not really. That's kind of where we're at. You also had this right here. Now, I don't know about. Now, this account scares me. I have to be honest with you. Like, when we get super into like the, okay, this guy's a Denver guy. But when we get into like the Jokic stance and they're all about Jokic, I'm not going to lie. And I don't mean any offense by this to any Jokic stands in here, but I do get a little bit worried about where we're headed when we're talking about players. I get a little bit concerned about certain verbiage that's going to be used. But the Nuggets fans are very upset by Russell Westbrook's sick jacket, by the way, but his comments following the game. Just pathetic. Westbrook avoids the media for 3 games after he screwed up versus the Wolves. Lee gives him a warning, and this is how he reacts. 17-year vet, and bro acts like a child, just zero accountability. Get this bum out of Denver right now.
You guys need to clean up right now and get right before the end of the regular season.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Your coach just mentioned the urgency of the situation, trying to avoid the play-in right now. Do you feel like in this locker room there's a sense of urgency?
I don't know, man. Not sure.
Michael Morris called this team one of the most resilient in the league this season. You obviously are able to draw from so many experiences. What can you kind of try to draw from to help this team in a situation like this where you're coming?
I don't know. I don't have the answer for you, man. I wish I did, but unfortunately, I don't. Yeah.
What's frustrating you the most right now?
Probably just losing.
Where's the confidence that this group can figure something out in the next 3 games and, be on the right path heading into the postseason?
I hope it's high. I can't speak for everybody in the locker room, but, my head stays high and get ready for Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that was the first time I listened to that.
You guys need to clean up.
That just feels like a Russell Westbrook media availability, does it not? Like, I don't know how much I could take away from that. I don't. Here's the thing. I'd feel differently if I watched Nuggets games and I thought, man, Russ feels like he's quitting on the floor. I do not think that whatsoever. Like, I feel like you can't question Russell Westbrook's hustle and determination to win games during the game. You know what I mean? Now, does he have some fuck ups? Absolutely. Does he have some brain farts? Absolutely. Is he frustrating sometimes? Absolutely. But I would read more into this type of press conference if I watched the game yesterday and I was like, oh man, I feel like Russ is giving up on the season. You get what I mean? Which I don't feel like. So I don't know. I feel like this isn't nothing really, but it does. It speaks to the point where it's just like Russell Westbrook's been very important for this team, especially with Jamal Murray injured or Jamal Murray dealing with this constant lingering injury stuff that he's had all season long. Russ has been important for them. I do think he's been solid, like by and large, for most of the season, especially defensively. Been pretty important for them. And that's the problem. And that's the problem right there. What was so bad about that answer? Yeah, I thought it was going to be worse, to be honest with you. I just had that bookmark because I saw people were upset about it. I thought that would be worse than what it was. It's like, it goes back. I've made this point a million times, like Dinwiddie now for the Mavs, where it's like, you know who that guy is. It's not a secret. Like, it's not a secret who Russell Westbrook is. Russell Westbrook's been 17 years in the league. What is he, 34, 35 years old? It's not a secret who Russell Westbrook is. We know who Russell Westbrook is. We know what he does. We know what he's capable of doing. We know his inefficiencies. So it's like, is it his fault for when he does have the occasional fuck-ups or when defenses are stacking off of him or when he's missing mid-range jumpers? Or is it the team's fault for putting themselves in a position where they are now reliant on that? I know the answer. It was the same thing. Spencer Dinwiddie. Are we like really mad about Spencer Dinwiddie, or mad about the fact that Spencer Dinwiddie is now in this position? How did we get here? It was what I always said about Dwight Powell. Why are we like spending so much time being angry at Dwight Powell? We know who Dwight Powell is. Everyone knows who Dwight Powell is. Is it Dwight Powell's fault that he is the starting center on a team that wants to contend at the highest level? Not really. I definitely like Westbrook, but it sucks how emotional he can get. Yeah, I mean, but we've known all that. We have known all of that. Jokic has continuously empowered Russ to be Russ, and I do think for by and large, like for what Russ is wasn't Russ a minimum signing? I feel like he's been fine. Dwight Powell got that dog in him, though. Do an NFL mock draft. Why do you guys want to see that? Like, what is there to gain by that? Okay. I have no desire to talk about the Mavericks, man. What just an ass whooping this past weekend was for them. Back-to-back games against the Clippers, back-to-back 30-point blowout losses. Like, what's there to say? They'll be in the play-in tournament. Let's just get it over with. That's it. I don't think they're making it out the play-in tournament. Although I will say it would be funny if they were to like in the Nuggets season or something, you know, like that would be a funny outcome to me in the Nuggets season. Warriors versus Rockets talk. I did not get to catch that game. But the Rockets have had a couple of impressive wins in a row, though. That much is certain. So the Luka hate has increased 10 times ever since he got to LA. It's actually sad. Has it increased? I'm not on Twitter nearly as much as I used to be, so I'm honestly asking that. Hey, so I saw your video about your basketball crisis. I felt that. I internally still struggle, although I cover Luka now. I wish it wasn't our reality. I've been feeling better over the last week. I will say that. That felt like getting something off my chest, and I've felt better since then. For sure, it's gotten a little worse. Okay, I can see that. Well, here's one thing you got to understand. Luka was the Mavs guy. We drafted him. We watched him grow up. Were there maybe some Mavs fans that didn't like him? Maybe. But I mean, a very small number. I had never interacted with a single one. I will say that. All of my friends, everyone that I talked to about basketball, people in here, again, really never once interacted with a single person who disliked Luka. Were we frustrated with Luka at times? For sure, but it was the way that you get frustrated with your son. Eat at home, David. Eat at home. Have you seen the stock market, buddy? It's time to just start penny pinching. I feel like the divide between Mavs only fans and Mavs fans who still love Luka and want to defend him in arguments, there seems to be some fan gatekeeping. Yeah, there probably is. Can we see those Luka trade mock-ups? Yeah, that's what we're heading towards right now. Do I really want to fucking look at this, man? Yeah. All right. We thought we were done talking about this shit, but I am interested in this article. It's by Bobby Marks, what 28 other NBA teams could have traded for Luka Doncic, because this is one of the things, the talk that has come around. You know, I've listened to stuff. Brendan Haywood was on The Ticket or The Fan, one of those two, recently, and I listened to it because a friend sent it to me, and it was pretty interesting for just to hear from a former player's perspective on this type of stuff. And I don't know how, I'm not sure how, like, how close Brendan Haywood is, of course, former Mavericks legend, how close he is to the Mavs still. I can't imagine too much, right? Obviously was a champion, but 3 years with the Mavs hasn't been there in a while. But basically was saying that he kind of understands some of the reasoning behind it, but the ultimate fuck up was the return. And that's kind of, I don't want to say that's where I've fallen because I still don't understand the reasoning for it whatsoever. But if you were to get more out of it, you could have talked me into some of the other stuff easier, right? Brendan Haywood was a Nico Nike guy, by the way. Okay. Right, like if it's every Lakers pick and then AD and then Reeves, okay. Like I'm still pissed off. I don't understand what the logic was, but it at least feels like you fleeced the team. So let's get into this. The trades are horrible. Well, maybe that's the point of this article because we never really sat down and thought about it. Maybe that's the point. Is like, hey, there wasn't maybe the returns that you thought you could get weren't really there. What they could have offered. Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves, unprotected 31 and 29 in a 2030 swap. So that obviously we feel different about the trade if this is what happened. And again, I'll die on this hill. There's no way you couldn't have got this. Like, I know you didn't want it to leak, whatever, but there's no way. Like, the Lakers are really going to say no to you. That's right. Like, that's just, you got fucked badly in the negotiations here. You got destroyed. And some of the Nico positives, I'll say, he's aggressive, sometimes to a fault, but he's aggressive. And I think that's important for GMs. He's aggressive. He does know what the team needs. And we've seen that. Like, they made the finals, went out and got Gafford, went out and got Lively, completely and totally rebuilt the Mavericks front court in about, 8 months. Went from one of the worst front courts in the league to one of the strongest front courts in the league in 8 months' time. Pretty impressive, right? They made the finals because of it. They went out and they got Kyrie. It was an aggressive move. Kyrie was damaged goods, absolutely. But they went out and they did it, and it paid off. The thing is, though, he's clearly not a good negotiator in these trades. Because you had the KP trade, which, again, I made this video, and I can't believe this came out. I feel like the comment section was botted on my Clips channel because there's people defending the KP's time with the Mavericks. I've never experienced, and I've done this for years now, talking about basketball, talking a lot about the Mavs on here. I've never come across one person in my chat that's like, actually, dude, KP was like good with the Mavs. I've never experienced that. But anyways, the return on the trade was not very good. You gave up a second-round pick. Doesn't make any sense. This trade right here doesn't make any sense. You lost the negotiations. Some of the other trades that you've made, it does feel like, why are we giving up a second-round pick? Why are we giving up a pick swap? Like, what is going on here? It does feel like your negotiating power is not that strong. You plan on reading Tim McMahon's new book on Luka? Maybe. The Quentin Grimes trade, yes, so on and so forth. Best offers for Dallas. Cavaliers could have offered Darius Garland, Jared Allen, and a 2031 first-round pick. Okay. So that's a pretty nice return. I think all things considered, that's a better return for your future. Can I be honest with you guys? I don't think the Cavs would have done this. That return is ass, really? I think that return is pretty fucking good. Mobley plus Garland, they're definitely saying no to that. Like here's I think where I think there's a chasm in what is probably reality, what people think. Teams would say no to certain offers from the Mavs. I've seen people are like, dude, you could trade him for whatever you wanted. There's definitely offers teams would have said no to. See, like, yes, they would. It's Luka. No, I think the Cavs would have a meeting about this, and I ultimately think their answer would have been no. As crazy as that is to say. You're saying Mavs say no to Luka, D. Mitch, and Mobley. If the caveat is this trade happened mid-season, I think it's very possible they say no. Cavs would definitely say no to Garland and Mobley. Definitely say no. And let's not forget, the reporting's been pretty consistent that another team said no. Guys, the Cavs said that this is how GMs think. This isn't NBA 2K. This is how GMs think, right? My team has, at the time, the best record in the NBA. I mean, we're cruising. My job is so incredibly safe. There's another human aspect to this. My job is so incredibly safe. I fucking risked a lot going out and getting Donovan Mitchell, and that's paid off. We've nailed the draft. The Jared Allen trade was a highway robbery for us. Like, we've done a great job. They've even done a good job building our bench with some role guys. Like, we've done great. If I'm blowing up that core in the middle of the season and bring in Luka and something doesn't pan out, I'm fucked. The youngest team to ever win the title had an average age of 27. OKC has an average age of 23. It's actually kind of crazy that they're that young still. Now, if we change the conversation to, all right, it's the Cavs sort of flame out in the playoffs and we revisit trade talks in the summer, okay, that's a different conversation. I think, yeah, probably they do say that. Houston Rockets, what they could have offered. Dylan Brooks, Reed Shepard, Jabari Smith Jr., and 2 unprotected first-round picks from the Suns, including this year's in 2027. Okay. Now, I do think the Rockets absolutely say yes to that. Now, the question, though, is that's... I'm going to be real. That's a kind of a shitty return. Like, that is a shitty-ass return. Dylan Brooks, whatever. Reed Shepard, we think will be good. Jabari Smith Jr., you know, I still have some stock in Jabari Smith Jr., but whatever. Those picks aren't bad. 25 and 27. Because then you could go to the table with the Suns having their picks and maybe get something else out of them. Amin Thompson instead of Shepard. What about that? I think the Rockets have a difficult conversation there that might lead to a no. Believe it or not. This one is a rebuild trade, easy no for Nico. Yeah, this is more of a rebuilding angle. And even then, like, Reed Shepard and Jabari Smith Jr. are then the focal points of my rebuild. Like, Amin will never be Luka. Simple answer. Yeah, that's true. But the thing, though, is if you're trading, if you're the Rockets, in like, who are you replacing for Amin Thompson? Because I don't know. If you're just adding Amin Thompson into this mix, that's a hefty package. I think you underestimate how much GMs are willing to 2K their roster. Or overestimating how much GMs are willing to 2K their roster. Yeah, there's definitely an angle where you could do this and then use those picks to sort of approach the Thunder about Book or something. This isn't a good return for... I think this exact package, the Rockets absolutely say yes, obviously. That goes without being said. Swap of all-star guards. Oh, God. The Hawks trade Trae Young and Okongwu. Lakers 25 unprotected first and a 2029 unprotected first. That's such a shitty-ass return. I actually unironically think that the package the Mavs got is better. So let's start here. Let's compare all of these to what the Mavericks did get. This hypothetical Cavs offer, I do like it more than the AD return. This Rockets offer, if you're going rebuild, it's better. AD, I think, is just more enticing than anybody or picks in here, to be honest with you. This trade right here, I'd rather have I would just straight up rather have the Lakers package. I'd rather have AD and Christie in the first. Guys, I know that the Mavs trading Luka is a once-in-a-lifetime type of general manager heat check, okay? Just because Nico Harrison did a once-in-a-lifetime type of move does not mean every other team in the league is just like, yeah, we'll 2K our roster too. People are undervaluing AD for sure. Oh, yeah, I mean, AD, if you put AD on the trade market, like this is the type of return maybe you could get. Because you turn around and be like, dog, I just traded Luka for AD. So, Trae Young, Okongwu, and 2 picks. I'd rather have what the Mavericks got. I don't see where the fuck this leads you if you're the Mavs. LaMelo Ball, Mark Williams, a 2027 first-round pick from the Hornets, I'm guessing, and a 2027 top 14 first-round pick via Charlotte. Unprotected in 2028 if not conveyed. So then wait, who's this? So then whose first-round pick is this? 2027 first-round pick. If this one is protected. I'd rather have the AD trade than this. I love the Melo Ball. He cannot stay on the court. Oh, our pick back? Our 2027 first-round pick back? Oh, God, no. This is a shitty-ass return. Not really a Mark Williams Uber believer either. Although I do like him. I'm just, where does that leave you? You're the Hornets. Like, you are the Hornets now. Clippers. Harden, Terrence Mann, 2030 first round pick swap, 2031 unprotected first round pick. No, thank you. Would rather have the AD package than this. Absolutely. Absolutely not. Yucky, yucky, yucky. Superstar backcourt partners. Pistons. Tobias, Asar Thompson, Ron Holland, and 2 unprotected firsts. That's gonna be a no from me. I don't think I'd rather have AD. I am very interested in the Thompson twins, but this just isn't cutting it. Ron Holland's been good and fun to watch, but I don't know how much I believe in him turning into like a star. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough to say yes to. Cade for Luka, but I don't like. I honestly think the Pistons struggle to do that. It's just a timeline throwing off thing. Pistons might say no to that. Say no to this. I think the Pistons probably say yes to this. Probably. I'm not 100% sure, actually. Golden State Warriors, I can tell you right now, this is going to be a no for me. Wiggins, Kuminga, Pods, and Gary Payton. Unprotected 25 first, swap in 26. Unprotected 2027 first, 2030 first round pick, 1 through 20. Okay, that's a big draft capital involved here. I guess the thing is you have to kind of factor in whatever team we're trading Luka to, 25, 26 first round picks going to be bad probably. Like you're almost certainly probably not swapping the 26 first round pick. Because also in this world, you're not getting AD. So your team's going to be Kyrie, pre-ACL tear, Kyrie, Wiggins, Kuminga, Podziemski. We're going to have to pay Kuminga probably $30 million. Podziemski, Gary Payton is whatever. 27 unprotected first, 2030 first round pick. I mean, the Warriors absolutely do this. You would think. Yeah, you'd have to be a Kuminga believer, like a big Kuminga believer to say yes to this. And which I'm not. I'm not a Kuminga believer. Pods to me is better if he's like a sixth man. I still feel like I'd rather have. This one's interesting because the draft capital just jumps out at you. I still think I'd rather have AD. I don't believe in the. I mean, I think Kuminga's good, but like, am I jumping up and down at the prospect of paying come bucket $30 million? No, not at all. Pacers: Miles Turner, Benedict Mathurin, Aaron Nesmith, Obi Toppin, unprotected 28, unprotected 2030. Miles Turner comes home to Dallas. Benedict Mathurin, interesting player. Aaron Nesmith, good solid player. Obi Toppin, really having a great year. What's Obi's contract situation? They just paid him, right? Not even Halliburton. I think you guys are overestimating how much other GMs would be willing to do stuff like that. I know it sounds crazy, and I know, like, again, in like a 2K world, you would do that. When there's risk factors involved with Luka, but also there's the flight risk. If I'm just the Pacers and I'm trading for Luka, there's a flight risk involved. Whereas I have Halliburton under contract. He mentions it right here. I have Halliburton under contract for what? The next 4 seasons, and Luka I could have for a year and a half. So this hypothetical situation, pre-Kyrie ACL tear, you'd have Kyrie and then Gafford and Lively with Turner. Benedict Mathurin is a good player. Aaron Nesmith, plug right in. Obi Toppin. It's not terrible. It isn't terrible. I still think I'd rather have AD, though, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, I still think AD's probably better. Grizzlies are interesting. Desmond Bane, Jalen Wells, Brandon Clark, 2 first-round picks. That's a no for me. To be honest with you, that's a no for me. If Jaren Jackson were headlining this, maybe it's a different conversation, but this is a no. I'd rather have AD. Still an all-time noob trade by Nico, the biggest bum of them all. Oh, absolutely. if this is the reality, no player in the top 5 of the league will have any assets given up for them. I mean, this is what makes because you have to look at it like this, right? When you think about the top players in the league who have been traded, it is pretty rare, right? But when they have been traded, KD traded from the Nets to the Suns. The Nets were obviously taking a complete and total rebuild approach to their team. So they're valuing young players. They're valuing picks. That's what matters to them. That's what they get. I mean, what are some of the other instances? The Rudy Gobert, the Jazz trades, rebuilding, valuing picks, young players. So they're getting picks, they're getting young guys. Larry Markkinen was not who Larry Markkinen turned into. Let's remember that. Paul George traded from the Thunder to the Clippers. Again, that was a team that was focusing on rebuilding. Kawhi trade to Toronto. That's almost kind of comparable. You had a very, very stubborn front office in San Antonio that was pissed the fuck off at Kawhi, was not going to let him go to LA, or at least they weren't going to trade him there, and sort of just pawned him off to Toronto as sort of a fuck you, and got DeMar in return. Five first-team All-NBA seasons in 6 years. What else would you want to trade for? The fan base of the team that said you can't have the 23rd best players getting fired. Well, from what we've seen so far, like Tyrese Halliburton's not the 23rd best player. He's better than that. But it's just like it said in here. You have Tyrese Halliburton under contract for 4 years, Luka under contract for a year and a half, going to a place that he doesn't want to be. Like, it would be different if Luka gave you a list and you had like 4 teams. Then a bidding war would ensue. And also, I guess we're talking about this article in the sense that this is happening in the middle of the season. But I do agree. Anytime the Luka trade gets brought up, and again, I'm not defending the Luka return because it's fucking terrible. But anytime it does get brought up in comparison to like Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, AD changes the dynamic. Yeah, Kawhi missed an entire season before the trade, but he was still an incredibly valuable asset. He was a huge flight risk, though, as well. Which, again, if it was announced that Luka was getting traded and teams were shopping him, that would be a conversation piece that Luka, in the trade lead-up, is like, he's a flight risk. So if you're a team like the Pacers or the Pistons, there's a risk involved in trading for him. If you're the Grizzlies, like, yes, the likelihood that Luka's like, fuck yeah, I want to stay in Memphis, 76ers. Oh! Paul George, Jared McCain. I don't give a fuck about Jared McCain's inclusion. I think he's going to be a great player. This is a no for me. I don't want Paul George on my team. I mean, could Nico have gone about this trade worse? No. It also doesn't help that every possible thing that could have gone wrong following the trade did. Literally every possible thing. Paul George, a liability at this point in his career? Yeah, this is a big no for me. Jared McCain's going to be great, but 2026 first-round pick, least favorable of Houston. If 6 through 30, Oklahoma City and Clippers. So least favorable. 2028 unprotected first-round pick via the Clippers. 29 unprotected. 2031 unprotected. So the Sixers absolutely do this in a heartbeat, right? I mean, the Sixers do this without even thinking about it. For me, at least 2 of these picks, especially this 2026 first-round pick sounds horrible. Least favorable of Houston, OKC, and Clippers. Like, that's going to be an awful pick. But at least this pick and maybe another first-round pick are just to get off of Paul George. So then you're talking 2 unprotected first and Jared McCain. I think I'd rather have AD, honestly. More bigs for the Mavs. Miami. Bam, Haywood Highsmith, Jaime Jaquez, and 2 unprotected first-round picks. Again, it's important to realize this point of this article was if the trade happened midseason, what were some other different packages it could have gotten? Again, midseason. So he's saying here that Jimmy Butler is still on the team on Miami in this hypothetical scenario. Bam, Haywood Highsmith, Jaime Jaquez, and 2 unprotected first-round picks moving forward. Would you have done Luka plus Gaffney for that package plus Jimmy? No, because then you'd just be turning into the Miami Heat. This one you definitely think about. This one is in consideration, I think. No, Luka would get Jimmy and Bam. Oh, you're saying together? I just don't think contractually it would work. It'd have to be one of Bam or Jimmy. This feels better to me only because of AD's age. Kyrie, Clay, Jimmy, Bam, and Lively would be sick. Kyrie, Clay, Jimmy, Bam, and Lively. A couple first-round picks. Jaime Jaquez, Haywood Highsmith. Yeah, Jimmy and Bam, it's like $85 million. There's no way. So it's one or the other. And you would rather have Bam. I don't know. I guess I would think about this one in comparison to the package the Mavs got. I still actually think out of all of these I've seen, robbing the Lakers and taking everything the Lakers have, I think is the best package you could have gotten. AD, Reeves, and all their picks in a swap. To me, that's the best thing that we've seen. Maybe Garland and Allen is maybe up there. Knicks, Cat, and a 2025 top 10 unprotected first round pick, or top 10 protected first round pick. Absolutely not. That's a horrible fucking return. Horrible. That's terrible. King, Sabonis. You guys already know my answer to this one. Sabonis, Keon Ellis. I like Keon Ellis quite a bit. Devin Carter and 2 unprotected first round picks. If you're just approaching it from the picks angle, it goes back to if I'm the Kings, why am I trading for a year and a half of Luka? Because that's probably what it would be. A year and a half of Luka. Huge flight risk. How about not trading Luka at all? Yes, that goes without being fucking said. Like, of course. Like, we're obviously doing a thought exercise here. Said that Max Christie's already on the outside of the rotation. You joke doing a fan base free agency would be getting back Sabonis had made that a reality. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a no for me. I'd much rather have the AD package than this. The apron teams. Nuggets, Michael Porter Jr., Christian Brown, Dario Saric, and a 2031 unprotected first round pick. Wow. That's brutally bad. That is the worst offer I think I've seen yet. Celtics, Jaylen Brown, and 2 unprotected first-round picks. That's in consideration in comparison to the AD return. AD's better than Jaylen Brown. Like a Celtics 20, then you got to think about it. All right, if I'm trading them Luka, they've got Tatum and Luka under contract. 2027, that pick is going to be terrible. 2031, all right, maybe you talk yourself into that roster being super expensive and players getting older. Maybe that pick is a little bit more valuable, but 2027 is going to be a brutally bad pick. Bucks, Dame, and a 2031 unprotected first-round pick. No, that's off the table for me. Timberwolves, if you're saying Edwards is a no, Edwards is off the table. Which, again, let's talk about why the Timberwolves, because in theory, right, Luka's better than Anthony Edwards. Their age gap isn't that crazy. That, yeah, I think in theory, on paper, you trade Ant for Luka because you're just getting the solidified better player. Like if Ant ever turns into Luka, that's great. But Anthony Edwards, you drafted him. He's under contract until 2029. Luka's not under contract. That's where you start to get into the difficult side of things. Rudy Gobert, 2025 first-round pick from Detroit. So that's going to be, what, in the mid-high teens? Then a 2028 first-round pick swap. That's horrible. Suns, KD, and then 3 first-round picks. 3 horrible first-round picks. 2025 Cleveland pick. 29? Is that what that pick's going to be? 2027 first-round pick. Least favorable of Cleveland, Minnesota, and Utah. So a dog shit pick there. 2029 first-round pick. Least favorable of Cleveland, Minnesota, and Utah. The absolute dog shit pick. I'd rather have AD. Historic draft pick packages. All right. Nets could have offered Claxton, Cam Thomas, DeAnthony Melton, and 4 first-round picks. Obviously, the Nets would do that, I think, in a heartbeat. The compensation sent includes all 4 Knicks first-rounders acquired in the Mikal Bridges deal. So you're basically getting 25, 27, 29, 20, 31 Knicks picks. I'd want some Nets picks thrown in there. Is that a possibility? Like, I'd want some Nets picks sprinkled into the equation there. This is where you start to get into the picks territory where it's just like, not bad. I think this is pretty bad, actually. Make sure you get consent before sending Knicks picks. It's true. I've shifted my tone on picks, to be honest with you, in trades. I think there was a time when it was like picks matter more than anything. And I think we're sort of circling back to being like picks are good, but they're not everything. Like the likelihood that these picks end up being valuable are kind of small. You're basically taking a dart throw that the Knicks have a horrible season at some point. You got to take into account how many picks is AD worth. That is the ultimate question. The Pelicans, CJ McCollum, Herb Jones. All right, so this is a pick package. CJ McCollum, Herb Jones, and 4 unprotected firsts from the Pelicans. 25, 27, 29, 20, 31. You already know. Now, maybe it's a different hypothetical world. We're going back to the trade deadline. The Pelicans get Luka Doncic. And so maybe they approach the end of the season differently. But this is one, if you're going for picks, this is one you would consider for sure. CJ McCollum, whatever. Herb Jones, valuable player. We'll add him to the rotation. 4 first-round picks, which you already know the 2025 one's probably going to be pretty juicy. Maybe the Pelicans just bring Luka in or like, hey, we're just going to shut you down for the rest of the year. I don't know. Again, it comes down to like, why the fuck would the Pelicans do that? Because you'd really have to pitch Luka on staying there. But 27, 29, and 20, 31 unprotected. That's pretty good. This is like the rebuilding one where I'm like, yeah, I would really consider that. Because the Knicks, like the thing is the Knicks, I'm not sure the Knicks are going to be bad over the stretch. The Pelicans are a bit different. That's 4 20th picks. Well, no matter what, I don't think this 2025 pick would have ever been in the 20s. Herb plus Trey Murphy plus Hawkins plus Misi plus 5 firsts plus 3 swaps plus 6 seconds. I mean, yeah. The Pelicans probably say no, though. Here's the Thunder one. Okay. Lou Dort. That would be funny. Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, Ousmane Dieng, Kenrich Williams. For Philly's 2025 first-round pick, which they're keeping at this point in time, it seems like. Miami's lottery-protected first-round pick, which it feels like they're keeping at this point in time. So, Most favorable OKC Houston Clippers 2026. That's not that exciting. 2027 Denver first. That's top 5 protected. 29 Denver first. That's top 5 protected. 2029 unprotected. 2031 unprotected first. So a ton of picks. But if you dive into those picks, how many of those? So the Miami. Okay. So if the Miami pick becomes unprotected next year, how the fuck did the Thunder get this pick? This was part of the Clippers, the Paul George trade, wasn't it? I think I did a whole thing on how the Thunder got these picks. Is this part of the Paul George trade, this Miami pick? All right, so that's kind of interesting. This Philly pick, what do the protections turn into this? Because it does seem like Philly's keeping this at this point in time. Do we know what this pick turns into if it's not conveyed this year? So a pick swap between what's probably going to be 3 good teams next year. Denver, a bit of a wild card, but it is top 5 protected, which I don't love. Top 6 in 2026 for Miami for this Philly pick. Okay. I mean, the Sixers will definitely be better next year. Don't think OKC does this, TBH. Mid-season is always a little bit different. Is always a little bit difficult. It would really fundamentally change the way that they play, obviously. But your starting 5 would be Shea, Luka, J-Dub, and then if you want to go the double bigs, Hartenstein and Chet. I mean, that's pretty fucking good. But yes, they are a fundamentally different team after this trade. I think we have to go into the human side of things. Middle of the season, the Thunder are not making a trade like this. I know that sounds insane to you guys because in our brains we're like every team would have said yes. I don't think the Thunder say yes to this in the middle. They don't say yes to this in the middle of the season. They just don't. If the Thunder flame out in the playoffs, right, for whatever reason, maybe they entertain something like this in the offseason for sure. Magic. Let's see what the Magic one is. KCP, Cole Anthony, Anthony Black, Jet Howard, unprotected 25, unprotected 27, unprotected 29, unprotected 2031, and Denver's just throwing out their picks everywhere. 2025 first round pick from Denver, which we know is going to be like in the 20s. High teens. I guess there's a world where that's a lottery pick. So the Magic are an interesting one for me because I know I've said all of this other stuff about the Thunder. I don't think midseason do a trade. I don't think the Cavs midseason do a trade like the one that they proposed here. The Magic, if you were to ask for Franz, they're saying, Orlando can't trade Franz, Jalen Suggs, Wendell Carter because they just signed contract extensions, right? So that's the problem with the idea of this article being, if you were to do a midseason trade, what were some of the other packages you would have gotten? Okay. So I do wonder, and probably would not entertain moving Paolo. I wonder how true that is. I wonder how true that is. So from a player perspective, this is a dog shit return for the Mavs. Honestly, it is. KCP, Cole Anthony, fine. Anthony Black, some upside, but okay. Jet Howard, Stuff like this makes it even stranger. This trade happened midseason instead of the offseason. I do agree. The picks are a little entertaining and interesting. The picks are a little bit interesting. Those are interesting picks. 5 20th picks. Yeah, I mean, I guess in this world where you're not getting Franz or Paolo and you're sending Luka there, they're going to be really fucking good. Coming from Do you think Nico being the most aggressive GM at the deadline factors into him not understanding that you need to wait until the offseason to get proper value? I think there's maybe a line of thinking that's just like teams are getting more desperate around the trade deadline, so maybe we can get guys that might be a little bit more expensive in the offseason when every team thinks that they can be somewhat competitive. So like maybe us getting PJ at the trade deadline was easier than getting him in the offseason. Same thing with Gafford, but yeah, I think, I mean, I know the picks are like, whoa, 5 picks. Like, I know you see that. You're like, 5 picks. I kind of think the AD package is still better than this. Honest to God. Come from a Magic fan's perspective, and it came out, all you had to do is give up Franz for Luka and drew a hard line in the sand, said, no, you'd understand. If I were a Magic fan, so that's why I was saying the Magic are a little bit different. But they can't even trade Franz this year. But after the season the Magic are having, if they went to the offseason and it came out that the Mavs would trade Luka for Franz, I would be like, fuck yeah, do it. Because why do I think Luka's value increases on expiring contract? I think if he were to have a list, I think the Magic would be on it. Boncaro, is that untouchable? See, I even think if I were a Magic fan or the Magic GM, I would very much consider Paolo for Luka. Spurs, Harrison Barnes, Trey Jones, Zach Collins. Okay. Here's where we're kind of cooking with some of the picks here. 25 Spurs unprotected first round pick. So this is prior to the trade deadline. Trey Jones is involved in this. So this is prior to the De'Aaron Fox trade. So we're saying that this is happening instead of De'Aaron Fox. And this is also before Victor Wembanyama went out for the season. Am I wrong? Which, let's just say, would have still happened. Harrison Barnes, Trey Jones, Zach Collins, from a player's perspective, don't give a fuck about any of those guys. No offense, Harrison Barnes, welcome back. 2025 unprotected first-round pick from the Spurs. Probably would have been decent. Probably would have been in the lottery. Unprotected first-round pick from Atlanta. Okay. Probably going to be in the lottery. 27 unprotected first-round pick from the Spurs. They'll probably be incredible at that point. So all of the Spurs picks, whatever. But then 27 unprotected from Atlanta. 31 unprotected from Minnesota. The 31 picks are always interesting because you can always project. Project out that, oh yeah, this could be like a good trade for us because down the line, from a picks perspective, I think this is the best we've seen so far. So if it was all about the picks, I think this one is probably the best. This one or the Pelicans, just because I don't know how much faith I'd have in the Pelicans. But the players in return are awful. And yeah, I'm like, really? You couldn't get Stephon Castle? Really? You don't think? Rebuilding teams take a risk. Chicago Bulls. Oh, yeah, absolutely. If in any hypothetical trade right here, the Mavs are getting their pick back as well. Their 30 swap back. Chicago Bulls, Zach LaVine, Matas Bazulis, 2038 unprotected first, 2030 unprotected first. This one's actually not terrible. Dog shit trade. Let me defend this trade. So Zach LaVine, whatever. Matas Bazulis has shown a decent amount of potential here. Like that's if you believe in Matas Bazulis, then okay. 2 unprotected first round picks from the Bulls in the future isn't the end of the world, especially considering it's not like, if the hypothetical Magic trade, toss out every Magic first round pick because they're going to be dominant, right? Any hypothetical Spurs trade, toss out any of their first round picks are going to be garbage because they're going to be so good. Bulls, like, who are you pairing Luka with moving forward? This one's not the worst. Only 2 firsts in LaVine contract, though. Yeah, but I think the idea kind of is if you're trading with one of these teams, rebuilding is what you care about more than anything else. Blazers send Scoot, Jeremy Grant, and Shane Sharp. 2029 first round pick, most favorable of Portland, Boston, and Milwaukee. 2029 first round pick, least favorable of Portland, Boston, and Milwaukee. 2030 unprotected first round pick. The picks are kind of interesting. 2029, you're getting the best pick between Portland, Boston, and Milwaukee. Well, I could talk myself into Portland maybe not being that good still. With Luka on the team, though, I'm not sure. But with Portland not being that good still, don't know if I can talk myself into Boston being bad. I could talk myself into Milwaukee. Maybe Giannis has moved on or whatever the case may be. This just isn't. Yeah, this one's not moving the needle very much. Like Scoot, it's sure Scoot and Sharp, but aren't you about to have to pay Sharp? Raptors quickly, Grady Dick and Abaji. Unprotected 2025 first, 27 first from Indiana, and a 29 unprotected first round pick. Quickly's contract's kind of a lot. Grady Dick and Abaji, whatever. If you showed yourself this video of you breaking down the Bulls, trying to sell yourself on that package of Luka 9 months ago, what would that version of you tell current you? There's a lot less light in your eyes. Jazz. Okay, really? There's no way this is the Jazz offer. John Collins, Isaiah Collier, and Taylor Hendricks. 227 first-round picks. Most favorable of Cleveland, Minnesota, and Utah. Well, if I'm trading Utah Luka, I think all three of those teams are going to be good. So what, I'm getting 2 first-round picks in like the late teens at best? And then a 2029 first-round pick, most favorable of Cleveland, Minnesota, Utah. Okay, I can maybe talk myself into that pick being valuable, but come on, man. I mean, yeah, like if this is my return player-wise, we're in the ballpark of 5, 6, 7 picks. Full stop. From the Jazz. This one stinks. Wizards, Sar, Jordan Poole. Okay, I mean, I could talk myself into Sar. 2028 unprotected first, 2029 first round pick. Second most favorable of Portland, Boston, Milwaukee. 2030 unprotected first round pick. So I got to say, Marks does kind of get it. That for a team like Washington, are we really going to break the bank in a trade like this? Considering what is the likelihood, like how confident are we that Luka will for sure sign an extension and stay here? So I get, like, I think he's right. I think in theory we were all like, yeah, you could have traded him to anywhere for anything. I do not think that's how it would have worked, at least not during the season. Off season, different story maybe. But again, it does kind of boil down to, like, you would be, one, you'd have to be a believer in Sar, which some people are, some people aren't. But you'd have to be a Sar believer, one. Two, you'd have to bank on the Wizards being bad. Like them not figuring it out in 28 and 2030. Because the difference between what you got, like the pick, so you're banking, the Mavericks are currently banking on the Lakers maybe not being great in 2029 when they got this pick. But that's not the centerpiece of the trade. The centerpiece of the trade is Anthony Davis. So we're talking about the picks packages that are only focused around picks. It's like you'd be banking on the Pelicans being bad. You'd be banking on one of these dart throw Thunder picks panning out. Because you look at them and they're not, like, realistically, you look at these Thunder picks, they're not that great. They just have a lot of them. At least the ones you're getting. The Magic, you'd be banking on their team not figuring it out, which seems almost impossible to believe. Spurs, you'd mainly be banking on Atlanta not being good, which is what makes this one the best pick package, I think, is a Spurs one. What do you guys think of that? Luka's not going anywhere. You already know that slight. If he got traded to the Wizards, I don't know if that would be the case. I do think he'll stay in LA, absolutely. But if he got traded to the Wizards, I don't know. Would you rather have signed Luka to a Supermax before trading him? I mean, if you're going to trade him, yeah, I would have rather done the whole. If you're absolutely, you were going to trade, if you came to me and said there's no not trading him, not trading him is not an option, he's getting traded, I would have said wait until the fucking offseason. And yeah, you give him the extension, which I don't even think he could be traded if you gave him the extension, but just wait until the offseason. Let him give you a list of teams that he'd be willing to sign an extension for. Why trade him at all? We're past that point of the discussion. So let him give you a list of teams. Would you rather do Flagg for Luka if you knew he had to go? Absolutely. Like, yeah, absolutely. Wait until the summer. And yeah, make it a public thing. And then that does put pressure on opposing GMs. Where it's like, hey, the Lakers are on Luka's list. What are you going to do? Not give us Austin Reeves? AD and Austin Reeves? You guys are going to say no to that? Can you imagine Lakers fans' reaction to that? You're going to say no? We're offering you Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis and Austin Reeves, and you're going to say no. So what you're telling me is LA had the best offer if Nico wasn't terrified of Luka finding out? Well, if you're going to say, I mean, I think Orlando probably had your best offer. Because I do think when you get to the offseason, especially the season Orlando had, I do think that one, Luka would have been interested in going there. Jamal Mosley, the connection there. Two, I do think you could have gotten Franz Wagner. Maybe even Paolo. Like, I think the situation, the season from Orlando was that bad that I do think you could have talked them into breaking that core up. And now you feel much different about your situation because maybe you got picks in return, but also you got a young player that's very exciting to build around. They have to over Paolo or Franz. They can't play all three. Yeah, I think that you could get one of them. Definitely. Like player-wise, Atlanta, I just, where does trading Luka for Trey get you? You know, maybe Jalen Johnson in some picks is interesting, but I worry about his health. Boston is really interesting to me. Let's say they lose early in the playoffs this year. Do they enter? Are they like, yeah, we'll trade Jaylen Brown for Luka? I think a Boston trade for them is like probably trying to get cheaper. Brooklyn, you're just talking about a picks package. Charlotte, nothing really interesting to me. Chicago, again, you're talking about a picks package, nothing that interesting to me. Cleveland's also kind of interesting. If they flame out in the playoffs this year, and maybe they are interested in breaking up their core in the offseason, if Luka says, yeah, I'd go to Cleveland. You know, it'd be interesting to see what you could get. And I'd be interested to see how, like, would Mobley really be on the table? It's easy to say yes. Not all GMs are willing to 2K their roster the way other GMs are. Luke would automatically be the star and face of Boston, and you're underestimating how much they love Tatum. Tatum's their guy. They drafted him. He's been there for so long. Like, I don't think so, personally. Houston could be interesting with the young talent and picks that they would offer. Denver has nothing of interest to me. Detroit, I don't think they would trade Cade, so that becomes interesting. But they still have young talent. That's some picks. Golden State, you'd have to love Kuminga, which I don't. So, Indy, they're not going to trade Halliburton. So, Clippers, old, no picks. Grizzlies would be interesting. But I think, like, if you got everything from the Lakers, man, AD, Austin Reeves, like this package right here, that's up there with all the other ones we just mentioned. You don't trade Luka for the best player available. Mavs had a purpose. They needed a top 5 defensive big in the league to backstop their defense. Yeah. Tatum doesn't look like Luka. You're underestimating Boston. You're underestimating how much people like players that they drafted versus players that just come along later. So is the conclusion that they got the best deal they could get other than getting more from the Lakers, of course? The conclusion is, why the fuck did you do this midseason? Like, that's the conclusion. You're already handcuffing yourself. But yeah, my conclusion, and I've said this for a long time, is that robbing the Lakers, like getting everything from the Lakers, is probably the best you could have done, actually. Like, you're on the right track. But this is just a hilarious return. Like, how do you not, like, okay, maybe Reeves was off the table, right? Maybe the Lakers like, we just can't do Reeves, dude. He's on a great contract. We love him. Fan base loves him. We cannot do Reeves. How do you not get these picks? Like, that's what I don't, how did you lose the negotiation that fucking badly? Like, really? Just so stupid. So stupid. Boston fans are clamoring for Cooper Flagg to be a Celtic in the future. Well, he's also from Boston, that area. Cooper Flagg is. And a huge Celtics fan, I think. Or at least his mom is. These comments are funny. Luka's not going anywhere. He didn't want to leave Dallas. Well, there's a difference when you get traded. I don't think he wants to go to the Lakers. We're saying if Luka got traded to the Washington Wizards because the Mavericks wanted Sarr and some picks, I don't think it's guaranteed that Luka stays in Washington. Okay? I don't think if he got traded to the Pelicans for CJ McCollum, Herb Jones, and all of the Pelicans picks, the Pelicans don't have picks now to sort of upgrade their roster in other areas. Yeah, I think that selling Luka and staying there would be probably a little difficult. We only had one pick. No, the Lakers could have traded 2029 and 2031. They literally did to get Mark Williams, and then that trade got rescinded. Didn't it come out they were willing to trade Reeves? They just wanted to ask Luka about his willingness to resign. I don't know if anything like that came out. But what came out, though, I do remember the reports. What came out was that it was a discounted price because the Mavs did not want the Lakers to talk to Bill Duffy about whether or not Luka wanted to stay there. I think Nico pushed for the trade midseason to avoid any chance of Luka pulling off another great postseason like last year, which would make trading him even more difficult. Well, let me explain why he did it in the middle of the season. They weren't going to offer him a contract extension or a supermax extension. They weren't going to offer him a supermax extension, and they knew that then when they did that, they would probably demand a trade because that's ultimate disrespect, like, what the fuck, let's get out of here type of shit. And then that changes your position, right? That changes how much leverage you have in a trade. Although I would say, like, you're telling me that if Lucas said, I want to go to the Lakers, or like gave you a list and Lakers were on it, you could get this trade in the offseason. You know? Absolutely, AD, Christie, and an unprotected first-round pick is something you could get in the offseason. In fact, you could probably get more if you're having a bidding war. I don't know. Imagine Luka and Zion at the buffet pregame. They would be on my 1,000-pound life in weeks. God bless the private chef of the Pelicans. All right, folks. Live show at Four Corners Brewery tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you're listening to this on Spotify, leave a 5-star review. I do love you. Give the private chef a Superman, a Supermax. Tomorrow, yeah. Tomorrow is the live show. I'll be live again here on Wednesday. We'll have a lot to talk about. We'll talk about the Lakers game in Dallas. Yeah, go Rangers. Rangers are off to a great start. We'll talk about the Lakers Thunder Part 2 tomorrow night. That'll be fun. It'll be interesting to see because it's back-to-backs for the Lakers. Obviously, Luka's going to play the game in Dallas. That's without question. But I do wonder if they beat the Thunder again tomorrow night, and it feels like we are the 3 seed, we're locked in to the 3 seed pretty much. Which I think if they win tomorrow night, they're kind of safe with how much time is left the rest of the season. I guess not safe, but pretty safe. I wonder if that maybe changes their approach for the Mavs game. Maybe Luka plays and some other guys sit, or maybe Luka plays 30 minutes, which Luka might only play 30 minutes in the game anyways because it might be a complete and total fucking blowout by the fourth quarter. How extensive will the tribute be, I wonder? That's the ultimate question. That's one of the big questions because I highly doubt they roll out, given everything that's happened, I highly doubt they roll out the red carpet. You know, I highly doubt they have like a huge, gigantic tribute to him, given how it all went down. I think it'll probably end up being just a normal tribute video. Like, I think it's it. I think it'll probably be the same length as the Maxi tribute video will be. They've already done a Dodo one, right? I mean, surely that trade was years ago. It'll be a group tribute. No, that would be interesting. Oh man, it's going to be really interesting to see how that all plays out. There's no way they do a big blowout thing. No chance in hell. So I think it's probably going to underwhelm people. I'm already prepping for that. No, I will not be in attendance. Too expensive. I mean, like, we're talking $300 just to get in the building. Like, that's not even, I mean, finals tickets were uber expensive, but outside of that, that's not even at, like, the conference finals tickets were less expensive than that. And I'm just like, I'll say it again. I've already seen Luka in person dozens and dozens of times, probably 100 times. You live in a penthouse, dog? Dude, the economy. Got to start penny pinching. Penthouse might be foreclosed on. So like, my buddy and I got lucky and had tickets to this game months ago. Gonna be fucking insane. It's gonna be very interesting. Didn't Lakers do a dedicated tribute video for AD? Yeah, but very different circumstances there, though. Very different circumstances. How's the club doing in this economy? We're tightening up the bootstraps. We've laid a few people off, right? There's no more free breakfast buffet anymore. You now have to pay for the breakfast buffet. Yeah, Nick has media credentials, so he's there. We tried to get me credentials. It didn't happen. We've tried twice. Didn't happen twice. So 2 drink minimum now, yeah. 2 drink minimum. Do you think fans would chant, will the owner show up? So I'll give Nico some credit. I think he'll be there, right? I think he'll be in attendance. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be chants. There's going to be shirts. There's going to be jerseys. It's probably going to be pretty chaotic there. in his hiding hole tunnel. I have to be honest with you. I haven't paid that much mind because I don't know what his normal routine is. You know, so some guys just hang out in the tunnels. Like I know people who work for the Mavs in a certain capacity, and when they're not like working, they hang out in the tunnel areas. So that's not that. I don't know how crazy that is to me. Saw an F Nico license plate in Dallas. That's pretty funny. Saw your prediction for the West seeding. I don't know. It's too close to predict. Who the fuck knows? Nuggets Grizzlies play-in is the funnier outcome to me. Just because the possibility of like the shitty Mavericks or the shitty Kings being able to like end the Nuggets season is funny. I mean, the idea of any of these potential playing teams getting knocked out by the Kings or Mavericks is hilarious. Which is why, think about it. Close your eyes and imagine it. I don't see it. Do I see the Mavericks beating the Clippers? Well, they just got blown out by 30 points 2 games in a row. So, no, I don't see it. Close your eyes and imagine the Kings beating the Timberwolves. No, don't see it. Yeah, in a single game, anything can happen, but that doesn't mean anything will happen. Stephen A. Shannon not having Subban's Ovechkin LeBron take. Oh, God. And this is why ESPN's so dog shit. I mean, they don't talk about hockey ever, right? Never, ever talk about hockey. And now they're talking about Alexander Ovechkin doing, you know, what was once thought impossible, breaking Wayne Gretzky's scoring record. And immediately they're doing some heated debate. PK Subban comes on, never on the program. Except when it's time to like shit on the NBA in comparison. The only time I've ever seen him on here is when the NHL was doing that cool all-star thing they were doing and he came on to shit all over the NBA.
Sit up there and marvel at the greatness of LeBron James along with the durability of a LeBron James, and then bring up the fact that, Ovechkin played for the same team for 20 years, and as a result, that's hockey. A plus. Yeah. It's still hockey. Now, obviously, that category that you brought up is paramount if you're talking about winning, because obviously you got to adjust to new teammates, et cetera, et cetera. But if you know how to score, you know how to score. It's just that simple. So being a hockey player and being somebody, just because you play with one team, all right, and you have to make adjustments to new personnel, doesn't stop you from losing your ability to score. I'm looking at a LeBron James. Yeah, you went to 3 different teams, but he won with all 3 teams. Okay, and the durability is scored with all 3. Consistently a career 27-point-per-game scorer, not to mention the fact that, again, while winning and scoring 27 points per game, the durability factor, he has been one of the most, if not the most durable athlete in modern NBA time.
Alex Ovechkin has been more durable. Alex Ovechkin has been more durable than LeBron James over his career. Go look at the numbers. Based on the simple fact of the sport that he's playing, we can't compare these two. I don't see the comparison. We're playing football on ice.
No, you never do.
Games.
You never do, PK.
Hold on, 82 games. Alex Ovechkin, 82 games, is getting hit, dishing out hits.
Dude, Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp talking hockey is hilarious. What are they even trying to pretend here? Like, what are they even getting at? Like, what are they even trying to accomplish?
LeBron's not.
Who's watching this and is like, what does Shannon Sharp have to say about Ovechkin?
taking those hits. He's not taking the same abuse,
Hold on.
guys.
You make it seem like Ovi is an anomaly. Okay, Ovi is an anomaly. How many 6'9", 260-pound basketball players have you ever seen be able to handle the ball, do everything LeBron James has been able to do? Tell me the time. Name another basketball player that's comparable to LeBron James. I'll wait. Take your time.
Well, hold on. No one's talking about LeBron James not being special. He is special.
But you
if
mentioned
you want me to,
Ovi
hold on,
being
hold on.
230, 240.
Yeah. But I'm not saying that LeBron James isn't special. If we want to talk about greatness in basketball, that's a whole different conversation. I'll compare a bunch of other players.
The feet.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, LeBron's great.
Let's start the video.
I don't even get what they just said. What was even the debate? You want to watch the rest of it? Where can I find the rest of it? What are they even debating? They're comparing apples to cars. Yeah, they're not even, it's not even like, hold on, this is an interesting graphic. Final week of the NBA regular season, there's still so much at stake. Here's all the possible outcomes. Look at this shit in the Western Conference, dude. Look at this. I mean, they're trying to compare their LeBron's longevity versus Alexander Ovechkin's longevity. And then Shannon was trying to say, yeah, but you can't compare another person in basketball to LeBron. You can't compare other hockey players to Ovechkin. Oh, is this it right here? Ovechkin's record sparks unexpected NBA debate.
It's great, but he ain't Kobe, he ain't Jordan for me. But
oh, God.
What I'm saying, LeBron's great, but he ain't Kobe, he ain't Jordan for me. So what I'm saying is, it's not about size. You want to talk about 6'9"? I'm talking about the
Jordan's fine. You can't say Kobe. You can't say Kobe.
Well, yeah, I did. I put Kobe ahead of him. Kobe's ahead of LeBron.
PK, I've heard you say this. You base everything on mentality. Oh, they were at the end of the day. A black mamba gets his credit because it's the only snake that will attack you without provocation. But it's not as dangerous as a top hand. It's not as dangerous as a common brown. So what are we talking about here? John Wick kills a lot of people. Common brown. So what are we dangerous as a top hand? It's not as dangerous as a common brown. So what? It's not as dangerous as a top hand. It's his credit because it's the only snake that will attack you without provocation. But it's not as dangerous as a top hand. It's not as dangerous as a common brown. So what are we talking about here? John Wick kills a lot of people, but so did James Bond. So what are we doing if the job gets done?
Did you?
Okay, well, hold on. Hold on. If we're measuring greatness, let's talk about that. Hold on, Shannon, let's talk about that. Because, Shannon, you've won, right? You've won. Let's measure greatness for a second. If we're measuring greatness, it's not.
Am I doing something wrong, guys? I mean, I look at shit like this and I'm like, how on earth? But it has 1 million views on here. I mean, that's how much impression this tweet has. 1.9 million views. This guy's getting paid.
Let's measure other than comments. That's what Kobe
was in the
This guy's getting paid $100 million. Shannon's probably getting paid close to, I don't know, $50 million. They brought on PK Subban, who honestly, if I'm in the hockey community, I'm pulling PK Subban aside and I'm saying, please look at what ESPN is using you for. Like I'm not in the NHL at all. I don't follow hockey. I don't follow how people talk about hockey. I have no idea how they talk about hockey. You can tell me hockey is very similar to the NBA where they just shit on the current game, and I believe you. I have no clue, right? But hey, man, like you have this rare opportunity to go on ESPN's flagship show and talk about hockey. And this is what it turns into? Can't break a record without getting dragged into a LeBron debate. Hockey is respectful as shit when it comes to generations. You're absolutely right. PK is a good hockey analyst that is getting ruined by ESPN. I mean, and this maybe is not fair. Maybe they had a whole 10-minute segment dedicated to Ovechkin. That was nice.
Showing that you are capable of influencing fear into the other team. When I look at great players, that's what they all have the quality to do. I'm sorry. There's nobody in basketball other than Kobe and LeBron that has ever instilled fear in their opponents like those two guys.
Kobe and Jordan.
Kobe and Jordan, excuse me. That's why I have those two ahead of everyone. I'm just saying, that's my opinion.
Eastern Conference, when LeBron was in the Eastern Conference, did they fear him? Ask the teams for that 8-year span.
This tweet is so funny. They're just the catch this tweet. LeBron's great, but he ain't Kobe. He ain't Jordan. Yeah, I did. I put Kobe ahead of him. PK Subban joins First Take for some hockey talk. I like to imagine they're sitting down to interview people like baseball guys. Like, I don't know, who's like a fucking Mike Trout retires. And they're like, hey, Mike Trout, I want to be in media. Okay, Mike. We'll interview you. Give us like why do you think the Rangers will win the AL? Like if we put you on TV, give us why do you think the Rangers won the AL? Go. Oh, I think they've got good, their lineup is super deep. They've got great depth. Their rotation, if they get some stuff out of Leiter and Kumar Rocker, they're going to be a great rotation. Okay, that's all cool. So you had a great career, right? Yeah, I had a really good career. Okay, now we put you on we put you on at 9:15 a.m. Stephen A. Smith says that he doesn't think you're better than LeBron James. Go. What's your argument? What? No, say why you're better than LeBron James. And try to bring in Michael Jordan if possible. Oh, I'm better than LeBron James, but I'm not better than Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan's a GOAT. Boom. Okay, and now spend the next 10 minutes talking about Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. You see how they do it? PK Subban, hey, man, we respect your hockey takes. Ovechkin just broke the all-time scoring record. You go on ESPN and talk about it? Yeah, of course. Okay, but mention Kobe and mention LeBron and mention Jordan. And then you're going to spend the next 5 to 10 minutes talking about why Kobe Bryant is better than LeBron James.
In which LeBron James went to every NBA Finals in the East, did they fear him? Because if they did,
that's why he's the second greatest of all time.
I put Kobe. He ain't had Kobe for me.
Stephen A., we have to go to break. They keep telling me you need to go, actually. But I just want to ask you this, because obviously you've covered basketball the closest. Do you think it's fair to say players feared Jordan and Kobe more than LeBron?
1 million%.
No, I wouldn't say Kobe.
I'm like shocked. I'm shocked by all of this. I am shocked that that is the conversation that it became. Bro, how does First Take keep bringing up LeBron? See, okay, I get where LeBron comes into play because LeBron just recently broke the all-time points record. Ovechkin just broke the all-time scoring record. So, okay, I get that. But what a hilarious combo. Oh, well, speaking of the devil, PK Subban's on SportsCenter right now. Oh, man, I'm dying laughing at this shit. Oh, man. Like, are Lakers fans out of their fucking mind? Is this guy serious? First Take is using hockey as a deflection from having to address the Nuggets spiraling, OKC getting belt, and Steph Curry having 3 Spirit flight points. So basically this guy, Lakers fan, is saying like, oh, OKC, ESPN is trying to avoid talking about all of the Lakers' enemies. Brother, they just had a hockey player on to talk about why LeBron James is the greatest of all time. Do you understand what you're saying? Here, hold on a second. Okay, all right. Like these are the guys I don't want I don't want nothing to do with. These are the guys I don't want anywhere near my timeline. You understand? I've only ever seen or heard this guy twice, and both times he found a way to use hockey as a way to hate on LeBron. No wonder Stephen A. invited him back. You guys not understand yet. Yeah, but that's not PK Subban's fault. He knows that's how I get on the fucking show. Like, let's be honest, man. PK Subban, I'm not getting on the show if I'm talking about Ovechkin or if I'm really diving into the weeds on hockey talk. Like, I'm not getting on First Take. That's the unfortunate reality. First Take's not bringing me on to talk about, yeah, Ovechkin's great. Here's how he's done it. Like, here are the Washington, are they good? Anyway, here's how they can win this year, whatever the case may be. You're coming on the show if you can turn a hockey debate into Kobe Bryant versus LeBron. Congratulations. You've just, PK Subban, we'll see you on the show. We'll see you on the show when the hockey playoff starts. Who tunes into this shit at 9:15 a.m. on a weekday? Unfortunately, a lot of people. We'll come back when the NHL playoff starts, and we'll somehow figure out a way to compare some random NHL player like Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid. Is Connor McDavid a better white boy in his sport than Luka Doncic? And then somehow bring up LeBron. Luka's only good because LeBron is what Shannon Sharp will say. Then Subban says, no, Luka can be better if he weren't teammates with LeBron. And then that's how we then get into a LeBron versus Jordan conversation that initially started with hockey playoff talk. You see where I'm getting at? So, like, if I'm Subban's agent, that's the angle that I'm approaching with him. Having McDavid versus Luka debate is a legit chance. That's what I'm saying. Like, that could actually happen. Like, is Connor McDavid the best white boy in sports, or is it Luka Doncic? Boom. Then we talk about LeBron not making Luka better. Boom. LeBron versus Jordan. Boom. You see how I'm saying? You see how you're going back to First Take? You see what I mean? Come on, respect for not doing Mavs content like Nick in Locked On. No one gives a shit about that team. Well, Nick hosts a show called Locked On Mavs, so how can they spin the upcoming Masters towards LeBron versus Jordan? I don't know anything about golf, but let me at least just try to make an attempt, right? Is Tiger Woods involved? Is Tiger Woods still golfing? Yes or no? He's hurt. Okay. All right. Let me see Masters odds. PGA Masters future bets. Who's favorite to win? Scotty Scheffler's favorite to win. Roy McIlroy second. How many Masters do these guys have? Like, this is just the information I need to know. How many Masters does Scotty Scheffler have? Scotty Scheffler, he's won 2 major championships, both the Masters. Okay, so he has 2 Master championships. What about Roy McIlroy? How many Masters does Roy have in his career? Although the quest for victory is yet to be complete by McIlroy, he's put together some strong... He's yet to win. Roy McIlroy has none? Four majors in his career. He hasn't won one since 2014, though. Okay. Okay, yeah. Yeah, the Masters are going to... I think Scotty's got a great chance to win his 3rd Masters this upcoming week. Roy McIlroy, second in odds. He hasn't won since 2012, so it'll be interesting to see if he can secure the deal and get himself another major tournament win. Again, first one that we've seen in 11 years. It really kind of speaks to how difficult it is to win major tournaments. And it is... You start to think about the all-time greats. Tiger Woods was so incredible. Michael Jordan was so incredible. The fact that Michael Jordan was 6-0 when he had the chance to win a championship it really puts into perspective the all-time greats. And it's part of the reason why people say Tiger's the greatest to ever do it, because he won so much, but he won at such a high clip, where Jordan also won at such a high clip, 6 championships in 6 tries. And you compare that to somebody like LeBron James, who's 4 and 8 in the finals, 4 and 9, and 4 and 7 in the finals. It starts to, you could start to see how Jordan is the GOAT in basketball. Like, Jordan is better than LeBron because Jordan was 6-0 in the finals and LeBron has lost in the finals. So that's why Jordan is the best of all time, and that's why LeBron isn't the best of all time. Wait, I'm sorry. Did you just say that Jordan's the best of all time? Like, in comparison to Tiger Woods? That's right. I said it. I said Jordan is Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is Jordan, and Roy McIlroy is LeBron James. I can't believe you just made that comparison. Well, Kobe Bryant is Phil Mickelson. I can't believe that you're making this comparison right now. Kobe Bryant is better than LeBron James has ever been. No, he's not. He's not as good as LeBron James has ever been. And that's how ESPN talks about the Masters. They should have me on. So I don't see a world where the Cavs beat the Celtics, though. I don't either. Roy won a tournament a couple weeks ago, though. Yeah, but was it a major? Four majors in his career, but he hasn't won one since 2014. I'm dead at this. This is fucking funny. Like, if this were a bit on a show, it would be really funny. It would be really funny if this were a bit on a show. PK Subban comes on to talk about Alexander Ovechkin's all-time goal record, and it turns into a LeBron versus Kobe debate. Oh, I do. I mean, I love it. I really do. I gotta say. Oh man. Holy shit. So funny. So fucking funny. You do got to respect the gimmick. You got to respect the lack of giving a shit. I mean, you have to respect it. They don't care. They don't care at all. Oh, World Cup? That's easy. That one's easy. Guys, would Messi leading Argentina to the second straight World Cup be one of the most impressive achievements in sports? It would be a really impressive achievement, but it's not better than the GOAT. LeBron James going to 10 straight championships, 10 straight final series. It's not more impressive than the GOAT. All-time leader in points, playing high-level basketball at 40 years old. Are you saying that LeBron James' 10 straight finals is more impressive than Michael Jordan going 6-0 in the finals? You see? That one's easy. Golf is a little bit difficult. The World Cup, that one's easy. That one's an easy, just an easy, quick little diversion. Dog, this is so funny, man. What does Ovechkin's record mean for LeBron's legacy? Oh, you gotta love it. Holy shit. The fact that it'd be one thing, like, okay, comparing Ovechkin's record to LeBron's record. Okay, lame, lazy, a little gimmicky, fine. But I get it. Yeah, of course ESPN's going to do it. Of course ESPN's going to do it. Turning Turning this into a Kobe versus LeBron debate is next level. That is next level. You almost have to appreciate what's going on, right? NBA Central tweet. Is this really worth my time? Jalen Williams says Shai Gilgeous-Alexander should be getting more foul calls. He honestly should go to the free throw line more. He leads the NBA in drives, and we're like the lowest free throw shooting team in the NBA. I think there are like 6 or 7 people ahead of him that shoot more free throws, but because the media doesn't like certain ways he gets fouled, that gets pushed. Just watch the games. Uh-oh. True. I mean, you guys know that I defend Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's foul calls. No one's gonna like hearing that though. All right, thank you all for tuning in. All of the OGs, you guys know, love you very much. Could have spent your Monday morning anywhere in the world. You decided to spend it here. New subscribers, I promise you guys will not regret it. Donations, members, you guys never have to do that, but hosting tremendously makes me feel so good. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Live show tomorrow night. It won't be streamed or anything. It will be like a locked on episode, but we'll be back on Wednesday morning for slightly early. We'll have a lot to talk about, obviously. A lot to talk about. Thank you all for coming out. All the OGs, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll chat with you all later. Bye.